So the advantage for Hearts at the break. It's goalless Motherwell Falkirk, and of course earlier full time was Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 5. We are about 10 minutes away from kick-off in our final game of the afternoon. It starts at 4 o'clock at Ibrox. Rangers against Hibernian. We've heard from Derek McInnes. Let's hear now from the Hibernian manager, David Gray.
David, just taking a look at your team sheet, the one name that jumps out isn't there. Martin Boyle, updates on him?
Yeah, well, I've made 4 changes today. We picked the same 11 for the previous 3 games, so it was always going to require that freshness going Thursday, Sunday, and everything that's went into the last sort of 3 games. Boyle has been feeling a bit of an Achilles tendonitis sort of issue that we have been managing in the last few games. You'll have seen that we're coming off in games as well. So he was never, the quick turnaround, he was never going to be available for this one. More of a precaution more than anything else. But he should be absolutely fine for Thursday. It just gives somebody else opportunity coming in. You look at Ante Suto's just came in the last couple of games and done well, so he gets his start today.
Kaliji as well.
Yeah, and Kaliji as well through the middle. So that's always that, that freshness at the top end of the pitch that's required. I say it every week, it's never a team that starts, the team that finishes. Subs need to be ready to come and impact the game, which they did on Thursday night, and they're certainly going to be required again today.
I wonder if this is a good time to play Rangers. I note from their team lines that they've got people either making their first start or their debut, maybe a defence that hasn't played together either before.
Listen, I think it's a brilliant opportunity just to come and play at a really good stadium. I think I always challenge the players, you need to believe you can come here and win. In the last couple of seasons we've managed to do that, which is brilliant. So that should give the players that have been here the last couple of seasons and been on the journey with us real belief that they can go and do that. New players coming in, making sure that they're ready for the challenge that's coming, because regardless of what Rangers team was selected today, it's coming. It's going to be a real tough test, a real challenge. Derek McInnes' first game at home, the first home game of the season, 50,000 supporters. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, as it always is. But these are brilliant atmospheres to play in, and this is why you should, it's all part of being a football player, and a brilliant test for the players.
Absolutely, it's that kind of big game atmosphere that you want your guys to thrive in and show what they can do. And I suppose if you look at the last 4 times that you've come here, 2 wins. Yeah,
I think it shows you need to have the complete performance. That's one thing. We feel good. The confidence off Thursday night was a brilliant win. Winning in Europe is very difficult. I think we were only side to win on Thursday night. But as a result of that, we know we need to be better than we were on that night because of the level of opposition and the challenge that we face. History tells you a difficult place. You've just said there, the last 2 seasons we've came here and won. Can we be the first team to come here and win in 3 consecutive seasons? I don't think that's been done before. So it shows you the challenge. But we're always trying to push this group to try and recreate our own history, and we've got a brilliant chance to do that today.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A positive case forward there, Scott Allen. Also the explanation in terms of those 4 changes that he's made, and the hope, I guess, that Martin Boyle's injury doesn't prove to be anything other than just a slight short-term niggle. Do you like what you're hearing from David?
Yeah, it's what I said at the top of the show. I felt that would be the case, a bit of freshness coming into the team after them playing an unchanged 11 for the last 3 games, and the subs did have an influence in the game. Suto did come on and had a real impact, and the fans, he certainly got the fans back when he came on, just because he was aggressive and put himself in an area to go and try and put defenders under pressure. So it gives them a different sort of outlet. You've got Kaliji who's come in, who for me, I think there's a player in there, and it'll divide opinion, but I think if you play his strengths, and that's off the shoulder, he's electric.
Yeah.
That kind of combination with him and Suto could be interesting today against a Rangers backline, which looks really all over the place, if we're totally honest. Over the last 2 games have looked very uncomfortable at times defending crosses, so it'll be interesting if they've looked at their games and feel it's an area of the park where they can go and hurt Rangers, especially on transition. But I totally understand the freshness. Thursday is a big game for him. He obviously said in his interview he fully expects Martin Boyle to be fit. The one key area of the park for Hibs, for me, where I feel they have to get an addition in, is in that kind of number 6 position. We've seen Triantis 2 years ago, we've seen Barlaser last year. They were the guys who can receive and play forward and break the lines. In Chaiwa and Josh Mulligan, it's not naturally their strength. Their strength is other things. Chaiwa getting about the pitch, putting challenges in, and Mulligan coming onto the game and arriving in the box. That's a position that I feel maybe why we haven't seen Hibs at their fluid best at this point in the season, but there's still a lot of time in the window to get that sort of player in, and I'm sure it will be a part of the pitch where Hibs will be trying to strengthen.
We're going to have a split in the frequencies now. If you want to hear your request with Gary Innes, just make sure you tuned in to BBC Radio Scotland 92 to 95 FM. If you're going to stick with us here on Sports Sound, it will be on medium wave on the radio. Get us online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. If you're on the BBC Sounds app, make sure you're tuned in to BBC Radio Scotland Extra. Coming up with us, live commentary, Rangers against Hibernian. So this is Sunday Sports. We're just a few minutes away, in fact, from the game getting up and running. Scott Allen giving us his thoughts there on Hibernian, and it is going to be interesting, Ryan Jack, isn't it? It's a largely untried, untested group that Rangers have at the back. I mean, they are very much going to have to try to find their feet, and I suppose from a Hibs point of view, they'll want to try to unsettle them as quickly and as early as they can.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the challenge when you come and sign that dotted line at Rangers, it's always you have the challenge, you play the match, and then you move on quickly. And I think Rangers are finding that the hard way, that if you don't win it in the league and then you're going to a European game, the pressure goes on that. And if you don't win that, then for a club like this to not win 3 games in a row, a lot of people will be talking and asking questions, and rightly so. But I think there's a lot of new signings, obviously, that's came to the club that's going to be playing today. So you're hoping that they can come here, not have that fear, add that bit of freshness. And the others that have been here last year can obviously gel well and take that forward. But I'm looking forward to today, and I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think these matches, more often than not, Tom English, they offer entertainment, they quite often offer goals as well. It's going to be a fascinating 90 minutes ahead there.
Yeah, I hope so, Richard. Yeah, the atmosphere certainly is up to scratch. It's a pretty thunderous atmosphere. The owners of the club are in the building. They have a big meeting tomorrow. Just talking to a few of them earlier on. Trimiti was subject of conversations here about this supposed, apparent £22 million bid that's been reported on. They said they don't have to sell. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But certainly the atmosphere is terrific. We haven't got the teams out yet. Big examination for Rangers. Big examination. I feel there's a very much expectant air in Ibrox today. And Hibs, well, they've got nothing to lose. I think they've got they're a dangerous side at their best. Hibs can really cause trouble for Rangers today, and certainly with Rangers defending the way they've been, there could be opportunities for Hibs if they're on their mettle.
We're heading rapidly towards kick-off in that one. The SWPL Cup was played out this afternoon, the end of the group stage there. Some big score lines. Montrose 9-0 against Hamilton Women. Livingston beat Falkirk 5-0. There was a 3-2 victory for Motherwell away to Kilmarnock. Full details of that at the BBC Sports Scotland website, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Already we've brought you the 5-1 win for Celtic at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock, featuring a Casper Hu hat-trick. He looked very lively and looked more than capable of becoming a regular goal scorer during the course of this coming campaign. So that's done and dusted at half-time. Remember, Hearts 2, Dundee United 0. Tom Renault and a Calvin Miller penalty early on, and Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Highlights of all those games and the one we're about to bring you at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. That's the Sports Scene highlights with Jonathan Sutherland. It's a busy week coming up. As ever, there's the Scottish Football Daily podcast. You can subscribe to that wherever you get your podcasts. There's the SPFL Scottish Football Roundup online, all the action from the Championship Leagues 1 and 2. Get that at some point tomorrow. It's always a great way of catching up on the games, the goals, the big action up and down the divisions. And then on Thursday nights, after a busy weekend of domestic football, we're back to Europe. Some massive games there. You kind of feel it's all done and dusted for Hearts. Of course, having lost out to Benfica by 6-1 in the other game, and the first game in the tie. They look for some kind of pride there, I suppose. Hibernian, of course, are taking on Skendia. We'll have live commentaries over the course of that programme. Gets underway at 6 o'clock. Live commentary, Skendia against Hibernian. And then later, Rangers against Jagiellonia. Updates, Motherwell, Helsinki and Hearts Benfica. And then that massive game in Ayrshire, Kilmarnock against Ayr United, getting the group stages of the Premier Sports Cup up and running next Friday night. So all that to come, and still plenty to bring you this afternoon. Next up, live commentary from Ibrox. It's Rangers against Hibernian with Ryan Jack, Scott Allen and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Welcome to Ibrox as Rangers host Hibernian. Both sides looking for a first league win of the season. Tom has just Told you the atmosphere here is pretty electric. It's a full house. Most of those Rangers fans, of course, away to our right hand side. A massive tifo in the Copeland Road stand has just been furled away, and most of the fans inside that stand also waving red, white and blue flags. It's quite a sight. Across in the far corner, 1,000 or so Hibernian supporters will be looking for a repeat of the victory they recorded here at their last visit. Rangers lost 4 in the bounce post split, putting paid to their title hopes, and the home side can ill afford a repeat of that outcome if they're to avoid being cast adrift even this early in the campaign. The two teams are just a bit ready to get underway as Rangers just break out of a little circle, and Hibernian will kick us off here in Govan. They'll go from left to right as we look at it from the centre of the main stand, just at the halfway line more or less, and it'll be Josh Campbell to get us underway once he gets a signal from the referee, who's Don Robertson, Hibernian captain today by Warren O'Hara. And Rangers, of course, led by Lauren Shankland. Hibs just mixing things up here pre-kick-off. There's just a little tactical change to the way they're going to kick things off, and in the end it's going to be Antti Schuto who makes his way into the centre circle. They've changed tack, we're underway. Goes back to the goalkeeper, Raphael Salinger, who launches it long down the left-hand side, and is well won on his debut there by Olwitu Makanya. Towering figure. Looks like it is a 4 at the back for Rangers. We were having a bit of a debate, 4-4-2 by the looks of it, with Vanja Dragicevic playing at right back, where he came on against Jagiellona on Thursday. Not his preferred position. He's a man who wants to play at the heart of that midfield where Ryan Jack used to roam, but ultimately, Ryan, you've got to be able to adapt to the situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can see him slotting in it right back there, but obviously the club signed him as a centre midfielder, but straight away I think it's an area Rangers probably need to maybe get another body in, because if you're saying Dujon can't really play back-to-back games, and then obviously Ross McCrory's came in, so...
There's Raskan looking for Jokota on his second start, having just signed ahead of the European game midweek. Just couldn't quite get there. Raskan's pass just asked a little bit much of him, but he's starting right hand side. Finlay Curtis gets his start on the left hand side after an impressive cameo off the bench, and Raskan was good on Thursday as well when he came on, and here he is finding Jokota right hand side. Rangers looking to start brightly here into the box from Dragicevic. Chermiti can't make the most of it, and it's played forward by Mulligan, and it's one for Clegy to chase, and the goalkeeper's come a long way and he gets his head to it, and then it'll be kept in by Makanya. He played it off Dragicevic, and fortunately for him it fell to a Rangers player, and Devlin gets it back out to Jokota right hand side, cutting in off that flank. He's given it straight away to Shuto. It's a poor pass from the Japanese, and Hibs pick up through Chai one side the centre circle. Shankland working back the way, but it will break for Obita left hand side, lifts it down the left for Mayer, who's advancing into the penalty area. Comes Campbell, but Makanya, who's Fernandez on that occasion who was first to it, but Hibs looking to make some headway on that left flank. It's played back to the Rangers goalkeeper Ivor Pandur, looking for a first clean sheet in his third appearance. It's given away again by Rangers in the midfield, but Raskan tidies up, and now it's Romans in the left back row, closed down, but gets it forward to Curtis. Closely marshalled there by Megwa, pulled to the ground by Megwa, and Rangers will have the free kick, and the referee wants a word here with the Hibs wing back, and I wonder, is it too early for a card? Is it too deep in the Rangers half for it to be worthy of a card, Scott Allen?
Yeah, for me I think it's a bit early. It is deep. I think Finlay Curtis does really well. His body in between man and ball, manages to get on the outside of Megwa. Just looking at how Rangers have set up there, and the way you look a bit, it's been a bit of nerves there in terms of playing out from the back at times, but they're just rushing things, and that comes with us not being on the back of winning games of football. And you can see Hibs looking any time it goes to a full-back, trying to lock them down that one side and force them into these straight passes to go and nick the ball and go on the counter-attack.
Curtis looking for Shanklin, but O'Hara steps in, knocks the ball out of play on the halfway line. Both managers just at the edges of their respective technical areas. David Gray looking for another positive result. They've 1 and 2 the last 3 visits in the league. As played out to the right hand side, Dragicevic manages to get it to Jokita, continues his run. Dragicevic looking to cut it back for Shanklin, who just caught a Hibs heel on its way into the penalty area and didn't find Shanklin ultimately, but Dragicevic looking to keep the pressure on. He's won it, but unfairly, or not perhaps, the referee has signalled for the Hibs free kick. It did look like a bit of a shove in the back there as Rangers looked to try and start this game. One thing that caught my ear in the Derek McInnes pre-match interview, Ryan, was he said he wanted a confident, aggressive, positive performance to take advantage of this, the 50,000 crowd, and to be fair, Rangers have started on the front foot.
Yeah, I think exactly what you need. I think run forward, pass forward, especially early doors, make Hibs defend. Don't let the Hibs defence feel comfortable, and so far they seem to be doing that, and you just like to see them sort of keep on that and don't let Hibs breathe at the minute, because if you let good teams take time on the ball and show good composure as Hibs are now, then they can look like a good team and good players. So Rangers just need to keep pushing.
Romans just knocks it back to Fernandez, plays it back to the goalkeeper. Campbell closing him down, but Pandur gets it out to Macania, right hand side of the penalty area. Clige closes him down, the ball comes forward and eventually will go out of play over on the far side for a Rangers throw. We've played 5 minutes, no goals as yet. We'll keep you up to date with the second half scorelines in the games that are still going on. Hearts leading Dundee United by 2-0 and Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Falkirk won on both visits in the league there last season. We'll be looking to replicate that. Here's Romans for Rangers, just leaves it for Curtis left hand side, cuts in off the left, gets the little 1-2 from Chermiti, comes forward, Chaiwa steps in. Curtis showed him a little bit too much of the ball there. There's Dragicevic getting out to Jokita once more. Jokita cuts in off the right hand side into Shanklin, tries to spin away from Obita, who gets the ball but just has to knock it out of play. As much as Dragicevic is playing at right back nominally, it looks like he's going to try and get forward as much as possible. Rangers obviously in the absence of James Tavernier after 11 years of foraging down that right wing for them to great effect at times. Here's Curtis on the opposite flank up against Megwa. Gets the cross in from about 15 yards off the byline. It's cut out but only into the path of Chermiti. Then Fernandez scoops out to the right hand side, won't find Jokita. Dragicevic will go and try and tidy up back to Macania. He'll be looking to establish himself alongside Fernandez, especially with Ben Godfrey out for a few weeks. Big switch of play can't be kept in play by 2 Romans, and it'll be a Hibernian throw midway inside their own half. 6.5 on the clock, and it's 0-0.
I was just thinking there, Al, when you were saying to Ryan Jack about roaming around the midfield. The first time I played with him, he was playing right back. Remember that? And a good right back at that.
It's going to be a Hibernian throw in here. It'll be taken by O'Hara. Down the right it goes. Cliche beaten to it by a combination of Fernandez and Macania. Rangers need to be on their mettle defensively, which they haven't really been in the opening couple of games of the season. Kerr finds Obita for Hibernian, out to the left hand side for Mayer. 10 yards inside the Rangers half, plays it forward down the left for Campbell. His attempted cross comes off Macania and behind for a Hibs corner. Decent play from the visitors.
Josh Campbell gives you that threat. He's always looking to run beyond. I just feel if Rangers are in attacking areas, if they don't take care of the ball, the one thing he's good at is arriving in the box, and he does give you that threat.
Hibs will have the corner here from the left hand side. Looks like Obita is going to be the man to take this one over in the far corner. So it'll be the outswinger, you imagine, with the left foot from the man who's playing left centre back again this afternoon. Flights it in towards the back post. Up goes Clige, who's not the tallest man. Schutel was in there as well, but Rangers managed to get it clear. Hibs have to come back to the halfway line. Megwa turns it back to his goalkeeper Salinger. Plenty of time to measure the ball forward, plays it down the right, looking for Campbell. Curtis was blocked off well there by Shuto. Quite clever play there by the striker, but Hibs can't keep the ball in that attacking area. Devlin gets his head to it, a little bit aimless though, and it does break for Shanklin rather kindly here. Plays it out to the right hand side. Jokota just has to wait for it to come to him. Mayer's with him. Dragicevic offering the overlap. Infield comes Jokota, knocks it back to Raskan, midway inside the Hibs half. Now it's Romans, out to the left to Curtis. About 25 yards from the Hibernian goal. Raskan into the box now. Away by Obita. Fernandez at the edge of the centre circle, just nods it down to his central defensive partner Macania, who then finds Raskan left hand side in the left back position. Clips one forward, but well away from his intended target, Chermiti. Easy one for Salinger to take. 9 minutes in, and it's Rangers 0, Hibernian 0. Referee's stopping play because he's pointing to his ear as if he's heard something from VAR. In fact, he's going to come to the screen here, and I have absolutely zero idea of what this is going to relate to. I wonder, is it something from the Hibs corner? Could it be as far back as that? They are checking a possible penalty. It must be in the Rangers penalty area because they haven't been inside their opponent's half, so it must be from the Hibs corner. The ball was played to the back post, and Shuto and Clegy were trying to challenge for it. There was no real claims that I could see. I don't know if either of you spotted anything at all.
No, never seen a thing.
Very strange, but clearly Matthew McDermott has spotted something in the VAR, and now Don Robertson's having a look at the screen, and we're about to find out. It's a penalty to Hibernian at Ibrox. Well, and it's a yellow card. I'm not sure if that's for Dragicevic or for Fernandez. Dragicevic continuing to protest. Lawrence Shanklin's trying to get an explanation here for Don Robertson. I mean, the entire crowd here at Ibrox is none the wiser, just like us. It's just the setup here with VAR. I know it comes down to finance, but no one knows what that is for, apart now from perhaps Lawrence Shanklin. But the Ibrox crowd are certainly not happy, but Hibernian in the 11th minute here have a massive opportunity to take the lead here, and it's going to be Josh Campbell. It was such a long delay, I guess the ball hadn't gone out of play since that corner. We're hearing that's foul by Dragicevic, barging into one of the Hibs players, but that's what's been spotted, that's what's been given. And Josh Campbell now from 12 yards, listen to the boos, trying to put him off as Ivor Pander faces a spot kick here from Josh Campbell. Campbell steps up, right-footed, and into the bottom corner, and Hibs have the lead at Ibrox inside 12 minutes from the penalty spot. Campbell goes away and celebrates in front of the Rangers fans, who are furious about the penalty award against their side as Lawrence Shanklin tries to G's teammates up, but Hibernian have taken first blood here at Ibrox. It's Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
And it's a really confident penalty from Josh Campbell. Steps up, he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. What a way into the game for Hibs. Yes, as you say, Al, none the wiser, and the decision, we think it's Dragicevic who's had a barge in the box, could be soft until we see it back, but what a start to the game for Hibs, and a way in, and now the onus is on Rangers to go and take the game to Hibs.
Well, Ryan, Rangers simply have to pull their socks up and respond to that early adversity.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as Scott said there, none of us seen what actually happened. It just looked like it was a big coming together. 3 or 4 bodies in the box. No one actually sees if it's hit an arm or if it's a shirt pull or what's actually happened. But it looked very soft to me. But I think Rangers need to wake up, and that needs to be a...
Here's Chermiti into the penalty area, tries the shot, drags it all the way across goal. And it will be a Hibernian goal kick. Hibs claiming that he controlled it with his arm. He certainly had the arm up, might have been the top of the arm though, as he was played in over the top from Fernandez. Rangers with a sight to goal, trying to respond immediately, but Chermiti, subject of 20 million plus bid from Galatasaray, we understand, but Rangers in no mood to accept it. There's been a goal at Tynecastle. We'll get to Brian McLaughlin, who's watching that one in just a moment. Cammy Devlin plays it back to his goalkeeper. Let's head to Brian quickly.
Yeah, it's now Hearts 3, Dundee United now. Claudio Braga on target, a wonderful three-man move. Braga finished it off though, dispatched the ball low beyond Dundee United goalkeeper Jack Walton. Hearts 3, Dundee United 0.
Thanks, Brian. Devlin forced to rush here at the back as he slides in and gets it to Macania. He plays it square now for Fernandez, midway inside his own half. Wonderful start to the game for Hibernian, you'd have to say. It contains Rangers, and when they got the, well, you could say it's a stroke of fortune, but ultimately if there's been a foul inside the box, then they deserve it. And Josh Campbell, as Scott is saying, showed great composure despite the howls of boos from the bulk of the stadium. Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way and has Hibs in front in the early stages here as Romans plays it in the channel for Chermiti, left hand side, turns away from Kerr, knocks it back to Curtis here, up against Megwa, touches it back to Raskan, still left hand side, thinks about trying to put it into the area, then decides otherwise, plays it short to Curtis once more, then it comes back to Raskan, he tries to send it in, Mulligan gets something on it, and Chermiti penalised for the challenge on Chaiwa as it came in, and we can tell the home crowd not at all happy with that decision either. And things certainly not going Rangers' way in the opening quarter of an hour, almost 15 on the clock, and it's Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
This now becomes the issue with Rangers' shape and the 4-4-2 against Hibs, who, as we've seen over the course of the last two seasons, when they go a goal in front and they don't need to chase the game, they can drop back into the 5 and the spaces just become really small. You're then looking for Rangers' creative players to go and have combinations and give and goes. What we're seeing at this moment in time is it going wide, helping the ball into the box and hoping that it maybe falls to one of the Rangers players. That's where you've got to have more creation, and I know it is an area that Rangers will be trying to improve in. But that is when Hibs now have the lead, they can protect that, and the challenges for Rangers, can they probe, can they find the extra man?
Shankman finds Curtis left hand side to run at Megwa here up to the edge of the box, back in field. He was looking for Shankman, but it was behind him, and Mayer's able to pick up and come forward. Now Campbell takes over from him on the left hand side. The goal scorer plays it forward. Macania with good strength against Clige, who's not the most physical players anyway, but it was good defending nonetheless, as Romans gets it to Curtis once more, back in field to Raskan on the halfway line. Rangers trailing by a goal to 0 here, but trying to do something about it as Dragicevic, the man who gave away the penalty, picks up right hand side out to Jokota. Up against Mayer here on the Rangers right flank, comes back the way. Mayer sticking tightly to him. Jokota manages to hold him off. Back away it goes to Macania on the halfway line, square for Fernandez. And out to the left hand side here for Romans, close down by Shuto, and back the way for Fernandez once more, about 15 yards inside the Hibs half. Rolls it into, it's a good ball for Shankland. Shankland though can't find a teammate. There's a couple of options there and he couldn't release either of them. Pandur has to come out of his box here to deal with the ball forward, and it's just stayed in play actually, and Curtis is now spinning away from Megwa. He's gone behind him, it's Curtis. Megwa gets back with him and makes the challenge. Don Robertson isn't going to pull it back for the earlier foul. He felt the advantage had been used up by Curtis, and Hibs get away with one because Megwa was certainly having a pull of the jersey. Devlin's done well, gets it to Shankland, back to Devlin on the edge of the box, goes for goal, but it's a tame effort straight into the palms of Raphael Salinger. 17 minutes in, Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, I think you could see there Cammy Devlin, it's what he does best. I think reads the game and then gets up on the game, wins the ball back, gets a turnover, obviously falls it to Lawrence, it goes back to Cammy and then he gets a strike away. But yeah, it was a comfortable save, but it just shows you that if Rangers do go after Hibs a wee bit more higher up and get the press right, then they'll definitely create chances off the back of it.
Here's Megwa feeding it forward down the right flank. Campbell will chase that, can he keep it in? He slides but can't quite curl his foot around the ball to keep it in play, and it's behind for a Rangers goal kick. Rangers, well, it took them until October last season, would you believe, to actually win in the league at Ibrox, and they don't want to get into that kind of run once more. The fans simply won't stand for that, as Russell Martin found out. behind in the early stages of this one. It's Fernandes bringing it forward. I mean, Rangers haven't played poorly, you wouldn't say, in the opening 18 minutes, but find themselves behind to that penalty kick.
At the same time, I think Davy Gray was really happy with his shape, picking their moments when to go and be aggressive with the press. I think at the same time, as Ryan was speaking about Rangers being aggressive and going pressing, and you've seen Cammy Devlin do that. On the other hand, see if Hibs can make that extra pass. The ball down the side of Romans and Fernandes is on all day, and Hibs have got willing runners.
There's Raskan on the halfway line. Clips it out to the right hand side to Dragicevic, chests it down, the Serbian, only 20 years old, coming as a man who Rangers believes got a lot of potential. Fernandes for Devlin, right hand side, forward to Jokota. Up against Mayer here on that right flank, back in field for Devlin. Jokota takes it on once more, in line with the penalty area, goes back the way to Dragicevic, who's forced further back to Macagna on the halfway line. Good shape and positioning from Hibernian to make it difficult for Rangers to play through them. Chermiti and Raskan exchange passes right hand side, almost 20 on the clock. Rangers trailing by a goal to nil. Josh Campbell from the penalty spot as it's played out here to Roman's left hand side. Tries to swing it into the box, it's well blocked by Megwa. Romans with the header this time. Jokota goes up, he's challenged by Chaiwa, and it's going to be a throw into Rangers left hand side, about 25 yards or maybe slightly more from the Hibs goal line. Devlin takes it quickly back to Fernandes, and once more for Devlin, who also gets it back from Romans here. Now back with Fernandes again. Plays it square to Macagna. Dragicevic has come into a central area, but Macagna takes it forward and plays it out to Jokota instead. Up against Mayer here once more, trying to take him on. Comes in on the left foot, tries to curl it into the box, took a little deflection. Chermiti will go and chase that. It's going to stay in play, and Chermiti picks up left hand side, rolls it back to Devlin. Low ball into Raskan. Raskan shields it to Shankland, couldn't bring it under control. Breaks back to Dragicevic, 25 from goal, into the path of Devlin. Rangers trying to keep the pressure on, looking for the equaliser. Curtis 1-2 with Raskan, cuts in field, then lays it into the path. Dragicevic goes for goal, just wide. Keeper dived to his left, he wasn't getting there, I don't think, but Dragicevic just off that outside of the right boot, was always curling away from goal, and unfortunately for him, wide of goal, and it remains after 20 minutes, Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
It's really positive play from Rangers, and that was the first time they showed that patience, switching the ball from one side to another. Then you see the giving goals, the combinations, and it results in a shot. Yes, not a great shot, but the passage of play was really positive for Rangers.
Just have a quick look at a replay of the penalty award. It's Dragicevic on Jason Kerr. He's not looking at the ball, and he pretty much has the arms around Jason Kerr, who's fallen back the way, and you can see why VAR have drawn Don Robertson's attention to it, and ultimately you can see why Don Robertson has decided yes, it is a penalty, because Dragicevic has no idea where the ball is.
That's what I would have done if I was defending my set piece. But yeah, you can see why it's given. As much as we didn't see it here, I think they've came to the right decision there.
Hibs have a free kick midway inside the Rangers half here. A chance to threaten once more. It's going to be Adam Mayer to take this one, left-footed, curls it in towards the back post area. Chermiti goes up and wins it, and is going to go out for a goal kick. Don Robertson's pointed for, looked like it came off Chermiti to me, but goal kick goes Rangers' way this time. Liam Craig, David Gray's assistant down there, making I think a similar point to the fourth official, because it did look like it came off Chermiti's head. That's a terrible ball into the middle of the park from Dragicevic, but fortunately for him, the ball breaks back to Macagna, and now it's back out to Dragicevic. Back with Macagna once more, right hand side of his box, and back to Pandur, the goalkeeper. Now Fernandes, still inside the Rangers penalty area, he's looking for an angle to be made. Romans eventually gets it as he clips it over, and that's a good ball from Romans for Curtis. Curtis will come forward, Josh Mulligan trying to get back with him. It's still Curtis, good ball carrying, can he find a delivery here? Headed away by Kerr, come back out to the left hand side, and Curtis just lets it go out for the throw in, about 10 yards from the corner flag. Quickly taken to Raskan. Raskan left hand side, curls it in, looking for Chermiti. It comes off the Hibs defender. It'll be a Rangers corner. Kerr getting there just before Chermiti. Good defending, 23-inch, still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, I think for me it was a great sort of build-up attack there. You see Pandev just playing it to Fernandez, out to Romans, then break the line. Romans just skips by a Hibs player, gets at the channel, Curtis breaks. That's the kind of spaces that I think Rangers need to find consistently to create chances.
Curtis over this corner kick. Another goal at Tynecastle, which we'll hear about in a minute as Curtis sends it in. Hibs get it clear. Rangers will try and gather. It's Romans picking it up here, sends it back in towards the penalty area. Fernandez still up there, gets a flick on. Yokota now right hand side, tries to spin away from Mir. Mir still with him. Yokota gets to the byline, he's squirmed away from him. Can he find the pass? Oh, it's off the line from Megwa. It's Chermiti who's denied from point blank range, and somehow Megwa stood firm and managed to get his body in the way to prevent a Rangers equaliser. And now Hibs will come on the counter. Dragicevic under pressure here from Shuto. Dragicevic has got to be careful because he was booked for his involvement in the penalty, and Yokota has just managed to get himself back. Let's head to Tynecastle and hear about that latest goal.
Yeah, it's another goal, and another goal for Hearts. Now Hearts 4, Dundee United nil. Josh McPick with his first goal for the club since joining this summer from St Johnstone. A wonderful 1-2 with Braga. A terrific curling right foot shot. Again, Walton, no chance. Hearts 4, Dundee United nil.
Well, some afternoon for Wouter Vranken, about to claim his first victory as Hearts manager. As Rangers here pressing for an equaliser, as close as they've come to it just a moment ago, as Chermiti was denied on the line by Kanayo Megwa. As here come Rangers once more. Macania bringing it forward to the edge of the box, then plays it out to Yokota. Curls in the low ball, too low actually, because Obita was able to head it clear. But Yokota did well to set up the opportunity for Chermiti, and I'm not sure the big striker can do too much more, can he?
No, he's just trying to guide into that far corner. You've got to give credit to Megwa for just getting back on the line defending, but Yokota is the first real moment we've seen from him in a Rangers jersey. He dances by Adam Mayer, and then what I really liked about it, it's dead easy just to put the ball in an area. He actually stays in the ball, throws in a bit of disguise, sits the Hibs defender down, and then has the presence of mind to then find Chermiti in the 18-yard box. And it's very unfortunate for Rangers, but a real sign of quality there from Yokota.
Fernandez has it just inside his own half, clips it forward. Megwa gets his head to it. Romans knocks it forward though, and then Shankman helps it to Curtis, left hand side, curls it into the box looking for Chermiti. Obita kind of knees it up in the air and back into the arms of a grateful Raphael Salinger. Well, Hibs are having to do a bit of defending right now, but 26 minutes in, they still have a 1-goal advantage over Derek McInnes' side. Josh Campbell trying a pretty audacious bit of control here. It almost came off actually, but comes off his heel and out for a Rangers throw-in. If you're Rangers, Ryan, what are you trying to do? Anything differently from what they're doing currently?
Yeah, look, I think both wide players, Finlay Curtis and Yagata, they both seem to be cutting in the pitch a lot, and when they do get the ball, just this instance here as we're talking, there's a run over in behind from Yogata. I think Rangers need more of that. They need Curtis wide, Yogata wide. As soon as the fullbacks get the ball, come short, spin, get in behind, get balls in the box, because you've got Shankland and Chermiti, two big presence up top, and you're not really getting the service in for them to actually show their qualities.
Goal kick to Hibs as that ball, which was looking for Yokota, bounces behind for a goal kick, which is about to be taken by Salinger. Long over the halfway line. Fernandez towers above Campbell and nods it down for Raskan here on the halfway line. Turns it back to Dragicevic, man whose challenge on Jason Kerr gave away the penalty, which has Hibernian in front here at Ibrox. Fernandez out to the left for Romans, further to the left for Finlay Curtis, quickly closed down by Megwa. He comes back to Fernandez once more. Fernandez on the halfway line, short ball to Raskan. Now Macania for Rangers on his debut. Dragicevic making his first start, having come on away in Poland on Thursday. Noted forward by Shankland, but the build-up is a little bit untidy, and then Dragicevic just knocks the ball out of play over on the far side. Hibernian will be delighted by the way the opening stages have gone. They've contained Rangers for the most part, and they've managed to get their noses in front as they look for their first points of the season. 2 wins and 2 defeats in all competitions for them. Beaten on the opening day at home against Motherwell, a game Scott and I took in. Motherwell very impressive, probably just a bit deserving the win, albeit it came relatively late on, that winner.
It was a strange game at times though. Hibs in the first half looked good without really threatening, and then you think they're going to go and get the winner, and Motherwell come up with just a brilliant team goal, one of the best team goals we'll probably see all season, and that was enough to win the game for Motherwell. But much more disciplined performance from Hibs today.
Yeah, still 0-0 Motherwell Falkirk in the second half now. 4-0 Hearts after Celtic winning by 5-1 down at Kilmarnock earlier this afternoon. Rangers do not want to be slipping 5 points behind Celtic this early in the season. As the ball comes off Devlin and out for a Hibernian throw-in, and David Gay just saying, yeah, just take your time as much as you possibly can. And Meg will just leave the throw-in for O'Hara to take here. 29 minutes in and Rangers behind as O'Hara prepares to take the throw-in. Big screens showing Andrew Kavanagh, who's in attendance here, the Rangers owner, and will not be delighted by the way things are going so far as Clegy comes forward down the left hand side, comes back the way to Mayer. Hibs just content to keep the ball for a spell here, having been under a bit of pressure. Mayer now down that left hand side, rather aimless pass as Fernandez knocks it back to his goalkeeper. Not the best of clearances from him, and Hibs pick up through O'Hara. Now Campbell, the goal scorer, closed down though by Devlin. Devlin's done well, and now it's Shankland. Shankland on the halfway line brings it out to the left hand side for Curtis. Curtis to run at Megwa here. Roman's trying to get ahead of him. Curtis comes back infield and finds Dragajevic coming forward about 30 yards from goal into Devlin and back to Raskan. Midway inside the Hibs half. Hibs have got everyone back behind the ball by now though, and Rangers just slowing it down there and allowing Hibs to get back into their shape when the break was on. And now we're going to be even more difficult to play through. It's Macania back to Fernandez and into Dragajevic right hand side, out to Yokota on that right touchline. Mayer trying to stick with him once more. It's into Raskan at the edge of the box, but he loses out to Chaiwa, and now it's Mulligan bringing it forward for Hibernian. Devlin goes and tries to make the challenge. Another good challenge from Devlin, who wins it back and now finds Raskan. He plays it on to Curtis. The Rangers fans want more from their side. It's into Chermiti's feet at the edge of the box, left hand side here, up against Megwa. Tries to find it to the back post, looking for Yokota. Well, Rangers fans claiming he was being held, but I think the back post, Mayer just using his strength to hold him off, and ultimately a ball into the back post for Yokota, and there's it's not really the way through, not the way forward for Rangers, is it?
No, and that was the challenge when obviously Hibs go in front. Hibs then just flood the box with bodies, and it's then up to Rangers to go and show a bit of imagination. I think the give and go that we've seen that resulted in Dragijevic just striking one by the post. Other than that, everything's out wide, and it's meat and drink for Hibs to go and head the ball. They've got 3 centre-backs covering the width for the 6-yard box. Rangers have to have a lot more imagination within the top areas of the park for me.
Yeah, well, Derek McInnes mentioned they've got bids in for a few players, a couple of wingers I think among them, but they do lack that little bit of invention in the team just at the moment. A little spark that can create opportunities for the likes of Shankland and Chermiti, who can certainly tuck them away if chances come. Again, Rangers slowing it down, and listen to the reaction of the crowd. Well, Derek McInnes wanted the 50,000 to be used in their favour. Chermiti plays the 1-2 with Shankland. Chermiti tries to play it back in, looking for Shankland again. He might have gone for goal there himself, trying to be unselfish, but didn't come off. And Hibs managed to clear their line. Still 32.5 in, and it's 1-0 Hibernian leads. Rangers trying to come again here. It's Macania on the right hand side. Charging forward out to Yokota, right hand side now. Up against Mayer once more, trying a little bit of trickery here, the Japanese winger. Onto the left foot, and then checks back onto the right. And Mayer gets back at him, just knocks it behind for a corner, but that's better. And that's more what the Rangers fans want to see, as you can hear from the reaction here. 33 in, Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you want to see from a winger. If you're sitting in the crowd, you're sitting in the stands, you're watching this Rangers team, you want a player that can isolate 1v1, who can beat someone, who can show a bit of quality around the box. Scott already touched on it with this Rangers team. They need that sort of combination play around the box, someone that can outplay, attract defenders and slip balls down the sides of centre-backs.
In comes the corner, it's a deep one, it's going to come all the way out to Romans, who'll take it on first time, he goes for goal, Salinger pushes it away. Decent save, and ball still in play actually, and Rangers player down behind the goal, looks to have taken a sore one. Chermiti it is, who looked to go and try and keep the ball in play, and he was challenged on the goal line. Rangers have won it back and will come forward again. Into Curtis it goes, breaks for Raskan, Shanklin wants it, the captain gets it back to Yokota. Chermiti's just getting a bit of treatment now, he's off the field of play, and Rangers can continue. Down to 10 men though at the moment. Romans, who denied a moment ago, gets it to Curtis, back to Devlin, into the feet of Raskan, just inside the box, goes down. Referee has a look at it, says there's nothing wrong with it. Then Devlin's penalised for his challenge on Shuto, but you can hear again the reaction of the Rangers fans. My first instinct was that the challenge on Raskan wasn't a foul, and that the Devlin one probably was, but guys, what were your own takes?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought Raskan just makes a meal of it, obviously trying to buy the penalty. I understand that the fans are going to go with him after seeing the penalty given to Hibs earlier in the game. The one on Hibs for me is a stone waller, isn't it? Chermiti, just looking at Chermiti there, he always does his best work outside of the box. How can they get him on the ball in areas where he can go and hurt?
He's finished.
He's finished, yep.
Now Derry's going to come on, and Derek McInnes wants that to happen now. Fourth official. Well, they're going to be able to make it. Or Chermiti immediately, he's just down in that little groove between the incline of the pitch at the back of the pitch, between that and the advertising hoardings, and I'm not sure what exactly happened to him as he went in for the challenge, but he immediately signalled that he was in bother, and well, the officials seem to be slightly confused. Derek McInnes is having to tell the fourth official that Chermiti's already off. On comes Ryan Naderi. Well, the Rangers fans howling their derision there as the ball's played forward into their penalty area. But Chermiti's certainly got a problem, and will play no further part in the game. Naderi's first act is to foul.
Feels a bit desperate already, doesn't it?
A little bit. O'Hara was the man who went down there under the challenge from Naderi. 36 minutes in, and Rangers trail by a goal to nil to this Hibernian side, who are looking pretty comfortable at the moment.
A lot was made about the changes obviously before the game. Hibs' best attacking players are actually on the bench, and the guys that have come in have worked really hard. As you can see, they nicked the ball back again.
Yeah, it's Shuto who won it there ahead of Curtis, and now Megwa brings it forward for Hibernian. Back it goes to O'Hara. Derek McInnes is out there barking instructions once more from his team, naturally. And Chermiti's going to have to be stretchered round from his position behind the goal. It doesn't augur well for him. I certainly hope, for his sake and Rangers' sake, that that is not an injury that keeps him out for any length of time. But it doesn't look great for him at the moment as Mulligan plays it back to Kerr just inside his own half. 8 minutes left in this opening period, with Hibs leading by a Josh Campbell penalty to nil. It's Obita coming forward, left hand side, plays the low ball into Clige. Fernandez trying to get back with him at the near post. Clige manages to play it back out to Mayer, who's got time to measure across here, and it comes headed away by Romans. It'll be picked up here by O'Hara out to the right hand side to Megwa, and then forwards for Shuto here, right hand side. Back onto the left foot, plays a low ball into Campbell. It's a good ball, he's looking for options. It comes to Clige. Clige tries to curl it, it's just over the top from the little Hibs striker. And not too far away from a Hibs second there, but just couldn't quite find the target. It remains Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Really good play from Hibs there, sustaining the attack. Worked the ball out to Soto. Lovely pick out of Josh Campbell in the box. He takes it with his back to go, just lays it into Cliche, who's trying to shift and find that far corner just over the bar. Really positive play from Hibs.
Flipped out to the left hand side there by the goalkeeper, but it's too high for Romans and out of play. And this is all very familiar. The feeling around Ibrox after the poor start to last season. They drew their first 4 games in the league. Russell Martin didn't last much beyond there. The Rangers fans applauding Chermiti as he's stretched it away. Best wishes to him as Megwa plays it forward, cut out by Raskan, tries to squeeze it forward for Shanklin, but Chai was in there to nick it back for Hibernian. They have possession inside their own area. It's care for Obita, who'll just hammer it forward down the left hand side. Luigi gets a good flick on, back goes Dragajevic, has to be careful here at the edge of his own area, but manages to get it to Fernandez. Fernandez now puts it square to Macania as Chermiti makes his way down the tunnel. Difficult to see exactly what the issue is with him. Don't want to speculate really, but hopefully we'll get news of that later on as Romans plays it up towards Naderi. He can't get there. Obita heads it square across his own box. Megwa does likewise. Chaiwa tries to help it away. It comes to Dragajevic. Goes for goal again. He's not too far away. Really good effort from the young Serbian. It was sitting up nicely for him and he caught it flush as he arrived forward on the right foot. And again, Salinger threw himself to his left. And it's just right to the post. And with almost 40 on the clock, it's still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, that just comes from Rangers being a bit more direct, getting the ball forward, try to use Naderi and Shanklin, putting Hibs under pressure, and then Megwa makes a loose header across the box and obviously falls to Dragijevic, and yeah, it's a great strike and Rangers just need to up the tempo, and I think chance will come, but everything just seems desperate at the minute. I think whether they're pressing, they're on the ball, they're defending their box, I think everything just seems desperate at the minute and there's no real composure about the team.
Fernandez here midway inside the Hibs half. Rangers have certainly dominated territorially and probably possession as well, but ultimately they haven't forced Rafael Salinger into a save of any great note as Fernandez plays it to Dragajevic right hand side, swings it in, it's over Naderi. Romans will put pressure here on Megwa, comes off the Hibs defender and out for a Rangers throw-in deep in the Hibs half. Romans looking to take it quickly, does so back to Devlin. Devlin now back to Romans left hand side, well challenged by Shuto. Another Rangers throw-in about 15 yards from the corner flag. Rangers looking for a leveller before the interval. That would change the mood around Ibrox, you feel. But it's a little bit downbeat just at the moment, with Hibs leading by that Josh Campbell penalty 2-0, which came after just 12 minutes. Here's Yokota, who's looked bright when he's got on the ball. Back to Macania, square for Fernandez. Rangers get just about everyone in Hibs' final third just at the moment. Out to Romans it comes, then back to Devlin. Devlin tries to find Raskan with the ball through, but O'Hara's in the way. O'Hara's ball forward is cut out by Macania, who steps forward himself. Looked like he might try for goal himself, but finds Naderi instead, plays it off Kerr, and it will be a Rangers corner. Almost 42 played, and Rangers still trailing by a goal to 0.
I just think O'Hara there, see when you get someone with Clege's pace, you're not trying to hit him, you just have to hit the space in behind and make Rangers defend. Because it's trying to hit feet, ball given away, and Hibs now have to defend a corner kick.
To be taken by Curtis. Yokata's across there looking for the short one, but it's going to come straight into the box. Well defended, comes back out to Curtis right hand side. This time it's back to Yokota on the edge of the area. It's going to go for goals, well blocked by Mayer. Dragajevic this time picks up on the rebound, well outside the Hibs box though. Out to Romans left hand side, and now Macania up in the left wing position. What can he produce from there? Rolls it back to Romans, who swings it in to the back post area. Up goes Clige to win the header back there. Comes to Yokota, now Devlin, but 25 yards from goal. Slowing down again, back to Dragajevic. Curtis comes in, asks for it. Dragijevic though plays it out to Jokota, right hand side. He tries to flight one into the penalty area. Naderi knocks it down. Fernandes takes a swing at it, comes to Devlin. It's over the top, but the free kick had already been given for a challenge on the Hibs player inside that penalty area. And the pressure is lifted once again on the Hibs backline. 2 minutes till the break. It's still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, look, I think David Gray will be delighted with how it's played out the first half so far. I think he would have known that Rangers would have a lot of the ball, a lot of territory, a lot of space in their own half, and Hibs are happy with the back three, back five, just to sit in, let Rangers have the ball and then counter. They probably watched Rangers midweek in Europe also, which they struggled massively with that type of playing against that type of formation set up. So I'm sure David Gray will be delighted with the first half. I
just wonder if at times Dragijevic, obviously naturally being a midfielder, can he step in and make the extra man in the middle of the park? What that will do will then show that space, that pass out to Jokota to get one-on-one. He's been the most liveliest Rangers player. Looks like something's going to happen when he gets on the ball.
Mulligan dispossessed in the middle of the park. Shankland picks up on the halfway line. Mulligan trying to get back with him. Fouls Shankland. Free kick goes Rangers' way. Devlin takes it quickly to Jokota on the edge of the centre circle. Rangers desperate to go in and on level terms, but trail at the moment by a goal to nil inside the last minute of the opening 45. They've come back the way again, but now it's Fernandes able to advance in a central area. Just tries a straight ball. Might come to Raskan, who's stretching and knocks it over the top. Well, it's a half a chance for sure. Fernandes, it looked like an awkward ball almost because it looked too straight, but actually Raskan latched on to the end of it and with a little bit more composure perhaps might have found the target, but as it is, it's a Hibernian goal kick as we approach first half stoppage time. It's still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
It's a really good pick out there from Fernandes. I just think, Raskan, you've made a great run. Can you just take that, show that bit of composure as you said, Al, and then the goal opens up for you. It just kind of goes with the narrative of this first half. Rangers have been very desperate at times when they get into that area, just lacking that bit of composure.
Fourth official about to show that there's 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the half, which we're into now as Fernandes clips it out to the left hand side for Curtis. Romans is ahead of him. Curtis comes in field, plays it square to Dragijevic. Dragijevic in that central area that Scott was talking about, but he hasn't found Jokota, and Rangers could be picked off here on the break as Mayer drives Hibs forward. In first half injury time, he's picked out a good ball for Campbell, takes a touch, comes back in the left foot, tries to curl it goal as he claims for a handball as it's blocked by Fernandes. Play continues. If he had taken that on in first time on his right foot, it might have been a better option as Mayer then wins the corner off Dragijevic. Well, Rangers have been vulnerable in the transition in the opening two games, and so they were again. And as I say, could Campbell have taken that on first time on the right foot?
Yeah, I think he just has to slow his approach then to the ball, take these smaller steps, and he can come onto the ball and try and guide it in the corner. He doesn't get a clean first touch at all, so that has to get him back onto his left foot, and then after that he's just trying to get a shot on target. But it was a great counter-attack from Hibs, a great find, and that's what Josh Campbell does really well though, Al. He makes the box all the time, runs off people.
He's going to take this corner kick. He's in no great hurry to do so into the final minute of stoppage time. Near post ball flicked on by Obita. Stabbed goal was by Kerr. It's blocked and then just wide by Shuto. Just taking a nick off a Rangers player on its way. I thought that was sure to be nestling in the back of the net when Shuto got onto the rebound, but somehow it's diverted wide and Rangers survive by the skin of their teeth, and it's still just 1-0 to the visitors as they have another corner here on the right hand side.
I know we only get one look at it, but that must have been a fantastic block from someone who's managed to get in the way of that. Looked certain for a goal.
Corner kick then. Corner kick to be taken on the right hand side. Referee having a word with a couple of players before this is taken. Sounds like maybe Fernandes got a block in there as Mayer takes the corner from the right hand side. It's a deep one and Fernandes stretches again, nods it behind for another Hibs corner, this time on the left hand side. And it's Rangers holding on at the end of this first half to ensure they don't go in. 2 goals behind, and there's no time for the latest Hibs corner, but some boos certainly ringing round Ibrox because their team go in behind once more. It's the Hibs fans away across to our left hand side who applaud their team off because they lead by a 1-0. The goal came from the penalty spot. Josh Campbell was the man who stepped up after Dragojevic had been penalised. It was VAR, Matthew McDermott, who spotted it, and Don Robertson's attention drawn to it, came across and had a look at the screen and agreed that Dragojevic had dragged Jason Kerr to the ground and pointed to the spot ultimately, and there was Josh Campbell to dispatch that beyond Ivor Pandur to make it 1-0 to Hibernian. And Rangers certainly put the pressure on Hibernian, looking for the equaliser. Dragojevic had a couple of efforts just wide of goal coming forward from right back. Chermiti had the best effort though, one blocked on the line by Megwa midway through that first period after he was set up by Yokota. But then just in injury time, both Campbell and then Shuto having shots blocked when they might have found the back of the net for Hibernian. So you have to say that the 1-goal advantage doesn't flatter the visitors. Rangers have plenty of work to do in the second half. At half-time here at Ibrox, it's Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Rangers versus Hibernian.
The Scottish Premiership, live on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland.
The Saturday Show, every Saturday morning from 9.
A no-nonsense, straightforward and logical proposition. The Saturday Show on Saturdays.
Also on Tuesdays, if you wanted. I mean, any day of the week, really, because you can subscribe on BBC Sounds and listen to The Saturday Show anytime. But it's still a simple, unequivocal concept.
Making sense of the week's news, previewing the weekend sport and music worth getting out of bed for.
The Saturday Show with Amy Irons and Stephen Mills. Saturday at 9 a.m. on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
This is Sunday Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Half-time at Ibrox, 1-0 Hibernian. It's full time now at Fir Park. Amy Canavan.
Good game, Richard. No goals to show for it though. It ends here at Firth Park. Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Couple of near things for both in a really end-to-end game, an end-to-end second half actually in particular. Motherwell certainly had the hold of the first half, but in that second half Falkirk really did come out a little bit after the break, opening things up, and it was a little bit like a basketball game, going back and forward. In the first half, Ibrahim Said smashed the crossbar for Motherwell. That's probably the closest that they came, while Ethan Ross, who remember was that late addition to the starting lineup actually after Joe Gardner was injured in the warm-up, he was really influential for Falkirk actually and really proved his worth to be named in the starting 11. He and debutant Finlay Barbrook was the biggest threats. They were the biggest threat, for John McGlynn's side. I'm just watching Falkirk players and staff applaud their fans to my far right at Firth Park. I think they'll be fairly happy with what they saw, given the way that things went last week against St Mirren. Really disappointing, John McGlynn not hiding back from that, hence making so many changes. A lot more like the Falkirk that we saw last season. And yet again, as I've been saying throughout the day, this Motherwell side just really picking up rather seamlessly from where they left off last season. They'll probably be a little bit disappointed that they didn't manage to get that goal. They did have the better of the chances, but the unbeaten start to life as Motherwell manager for Alfred Johansson goes on. It ends here at Firth Park. Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0.
Amy, thank you. Falkirk will be delighted to have got off the board. Maybe a first slightly disappointing result for Motherwell this season, but it does maintain, as Amy said, that unbeaten start to the campaign. 0-0 it finished there, but there were goals aplenty at Tynecastle. All Brian McLaughlin for the home team.
They were, Richard. Yeah, it finished Armagh Lothian 4, Dundee United 0 in front of a crowd of 18,602, and a very welcome win for Hearts after a terrible start to the campaign and a terrible start to the regime of Wouter Franken. It all started though after just 4 minutes. Josh McPake down the left-hand side, playing the ball into Tom Reno, took one touch to control and then fired the ball high into the top right-hand corner of the goal, giving Walton absolutely no chance. The second goal came a few moments later from the penalty spot. Calvin Miller playing it left back today. He stepped up to the spot and dispatched the ball into the back of the net. This after Jamie McCart had been upended inside the box. It took VAR to intervene, but the penalty was given and Miller made no mistake at all. Then into the second period, Braga was on target this time. Again, McPake involved, playing through the ball to Kerjota into the path of Braga, who with a reverse shot into the bottom right hand corner. And then number 4, again McPake with a 1-2 with Braga. This time McPake himself making giving the keeper absolutely no chance from close range. United had chances, particularly in the first half, with the striker Lachlan Rose, a couple of headers that was cleared away from close range, and then Zach Sabsford also had a couple of chances in the second half, but Braga also hit the post for Hearts and had one cleared off the line. Hearts are off the mark, Richard. It's finished out of Midlothian 4, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, much better for the Tynecastle outfit, much more like what we saw from them for a large part of last season. Hearts 4, Dundee United 0, Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Earlier it was Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 5, and we're midway through. Rangers against Hibernian. Josh Campbell's penalty has Hibernian in front. Ryan Jack, what have you made of the Rangers' performance so far, and indeed Hibs, and how they have repelled the attacks from the home side?
Yeah, look, I think Rangers, it's been disappointing. I think they've huffed and puffed, and a lot of the chances are coming from going wide and just hopeful balls into the box. I think Scott touching it during commentary. I think Hibs are it's eat and drink for Hibs that balls coming in the box. They're just three centre backs with the 6-yard box. Let Rangers have the ball, sit behind it comfortable. Rangers have got no one who can come and create and play combination play around the box and really suck defenders out, and then Hibs just play on the counter attack. They get their goal obviously from the corner, and then it's a penalty in the score. But I think for Rangers it's been poor again, and yeah, it's a big half-time team talk for Derek again to obviously try and get a tune out of the players for the second half.
Scott, David Gray will be absolutely delighted, won't he, with what he's seen from his team and how they've coped with the demands of the afternoon?
Absolutely, and rightly so. It's been a really good away performance, especially at Ibrox, and you can't look away from it. It's Derek McInnes's first game here as Rangers manager competitively, so it was always going to be a difficult game for Hibs if they didn't start the game well. And Rangers did show flashes, but for David Gray, look at the changes he's made. His best players are sitting on the bench. Look at Eldon, McGrath, obviously Martin Boyle wasn't playing, and Felix Paslak, who's been outstanding for Hibs since he came in. So the guys that came in have been brilliant. They've carried out the roles they've been asked to do really well, and they look a threat every time they go forward. The defending the box is something we have seen over with this Hibs side over the last few years. When they drop back into that 5, they can really see the game out because they've got guys that want to go and head the ball. But what they do have, they have pace on the counter attack, and Rangers creatively they just look so desperate at times. They balls into the box, hoping that it falls to Shankland. When Chermity was on the same. I mean, you're lacking that creative player. These are the type of problems playing against a back 5 when a team comes to Ibrox and goes a goal up. That was always going to be my concern with the 4-4-2, and not having that profile of the player who can really beat a player centrally and then find that slip pass. Raskin and Devlin aren't renowned for that. Their game's about energy. They need someone in there with a better balance who can really find the pockets that could hurt Hibs. But from David Gray's point of view, fantastic, especially with the guys coming in. So really positive. It's going to be an interesting second half. Will Rangers change shape? Will they change personnel? We've seen it over the last couple of games that Derek McInnes is really struggling to find what his best team is at the moment and who his best personnel are. So it's a big 45 minutes for Rangers.
Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Earlier we brought you that victory for Celtic, a hat-trick from Casper, who 5-1 against Kilmarnock. Let's hear the reaction of assistant manager Sean Maloney, who was on media duties.
Sean, I think it's fair to say the Celtic fans have a new hero.
Yeah, Casper had a brilliant game. So I think he probably had as many chances today as he did against Dundee. But that's the life of a striker. You have to be there to take them. And his all-round game today was really good. He gave us a platform to play, because Kilmarnock tried to press us really aggressively, man for man, and everything that went up to him, he held, and we were able to run off that. His all-round game today was really good.
It wasn't just about him. Obviously, he gets the hat-trick, he gets the headlines. I suspect he's going to be getting headlines plenty this season. But as a team performance, how happy were you?
Yeah, really happy. I think there was a lot in there that, look, I loved the creativity. We created a lot. But probably the biggest thing for me was the mentality. We started this game at 100%, like full throttle, and we never really came off it. We created big chances near the end. Defended when we had to. If you had to sprint 60, 70 yards, they did it. They were really good without the ball. I thought the back 4, the 2 in front of them, Arna and Cal, I know all the headlines will go to the attackers. I thought those 4, back 4, goalkeeper and the 2 in front, I thought they were excellent. So it was pretty good, yeah.
If it hadn't been for Max Stryek and the goal frame, could have been even more goals.
Yeah, I think at times, but I think you got to respect Kilmarnock as well. I think they had a moment at 1-0 where our goalie had to make a really big save, and then at that time when it starts, when we're in front and we got confident, it's hard to stop at times. But no, we created a lot. I really liked that side of it. We set a really good benchmark today, and for me, it was built on the platform of without the ball.
It was a real battle, wasn't it? The first half an hour of the game. You mentioned Kilmarnock having opportunities when they were just one goal behind. It's a great advert for the game in this country for that opening half an hour. But from that point, it was just dominance, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we played pretty well after that. I think there was that moment, and it was 5-10 minutes. It definitely felt 50-50. We needed a big save. Even during that time, we were still creating. We still created a lot. Yeah, but there was a moment it felt like we were under pressure. They're a threat, Kilmarnock. I watched them last week. I watched them last season under Neil. He's done a brilliant job since January. So one thing they can do is they can definitely create and they can definitely score. So we just, we were really good today.
Alistair Johnston came off at half-time. What was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, just a precaution. He felt something, and then we just immediately just made the decision to take him off.
The manager wasn't here today. He told me earlier on that he's feeling a lot better. He'll be feeling even better now, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, I think he spoke to the team before we came here, and he is what he is. He's a winner, so his only message was win the game. So
have you heard from him yet?
No, I've not checked my phone or anything, but I'll give him a call on the bus. He'll be really pleased with the players, but also the staff. It's been a really difficult week. I think our medical team have done a brilliant job, a really top job with the manager, and we can't wait to get him back.
There you go, Sean Maloney, after that excellent win. Tom English, you were with us for large chunks of that game. Sean Maloney absolutely delighted. Good news, hopefully, regarding Martin O'Neill, and Celtic will get him back in the fold before too long. But it's a very pleasing afternoon all round. You get the win, you get the victory, you're up there with 2 wins out of 2, and of course you look to have a new goal hero.
Yeah, absolutely. And what it also does, because they have a new goal hero, Casper Hu, it kind of calms everything down. I mean, that's been an unhappy club, between the relationship between the fans and the board for a long time. Casper Hu comes in at great expense and hits the ground running, and everything I'd say everything is better again between the fans and the board. But certainly it takes the heat out of it for a while, when they see that they have a player of this pedigree playing for Celtic and scoring for Celtic and scoring against these top European teams last season. This is a guy, a serious player, and he could have had a hat-trick in his first 2 games for Celtic. Like, this guy, he's such a penalty box striker. He finds space in the 6-yard box. He's an outstanding goal scorer. I think he's going to score a bucket of goals for Celtic this season. He got off to a really good start. And as Sean Maloney said it's not just his goal; it was all-round play. It was his presence, physical presence, leading the line. He's a very clever player, and he's going to be. I think he's going to be a revelation for Celtic this season.
You're there at Ibrox, you've been watching the first half of that one, Hibernian ahead thanks to Josh Campbell's penalty. I mean, it was one of those very strange scenarios where it had been so long since the incident that no one on the commentary team could even remember what might have happened. And ultimately Al said, well, gosh, does it go all the way back to that Hibernian corner? Well, it did indeed. I mean, it was crazy defending, wasn't it, by Vanja Dragicevic to give it away?
I didn't think it was a penalty, Richard.
Did you not?
I didn't think it was a penalty.
So he's run across the box with his back to the ball, not looking at it, and pushed the player over.
He's run towards Jason Kerr, and he's put his hand around Jason Kerr, but Jason Kerr then has grabbed him around the neck and pulled him down. I don't think that's a penalty.
Well,
no chance.
So I've got to say I didn't see it quite. Certainly Jason Kerr puts his hand out, but for me it's the momentum for the Rangers player.
Jason Kerr puts his hand up to Dragicevic's face first of all, and then he puts his other arm around his neck and he pulls him down. Have a look at it.
Okay. Well, I'm always open to other interpretations.
Very strange decision. And honestly, I mean, we all look with different eyes. I just thought it was I've watched it a load of times. I think it was a very strange decision.
Well, certainly a very
Rangers have
late
been desperate.
decision.
Rangers have been desperate. The lads are spot on. They've been desperate. They've been panicky. They've been frustrated.
Well, they need to find something in the second 45 minutes, otherwise this game is going to go away from them. Really interesting it is. Highlights on Sportscene tonight, 7:15, BBC Scotland channel, live second half commentary. Right now on Sunday Sports Sound, Rangers 0, Hibernian 1 with Scott Allen, Ryan Jack and Al Lamont.
Thanks, Rich. Another change for Rangers, having been forced to replace Chermiti with Naderi in the first half because of injury. They've now replaced Dragicevic with Diamondi for the second half. It looks like Finlay Curtis is going to be asked to play right back, and it's going to be a little bit lopsided for me. Diamondi's not going to go out and play at left-hand side. He's going to be playing more centrally, so interesting to see if that works out for Rangers. But we're back underway anyway, and Rangers are on the attack, but not for long as Hibs hoist it clear. McCann gets his head to it. We saw Curtis incidentally playing there once or twice for Kilmarnock, certainly when he went on loan there second half last season. He'll be looking to do more attacking than he is defending, as there's a late challenge gone in there from Shuto and a yellow card for his challenge on Romans, which was so late that I didn't see it because I was watching the ball, but the referee showing the yellow card to the Hibs striker. Ryan, what of that half-time change then? What do you think the thinking is from Derek McInnes?
Yeah, I think he's obviously looked at young Finlay's played there last season for Kilmarnock, done a great job there, done an excellent job actually. So I think he's thought maybe put Finlay there to get a wee bit more forward attack from the right hand side down Hibs' left, and also looks like he's put Cammy Devlin just as 1-6 with Nico and Diamondi, Raskin and Diamondi a wee bit higher to obviously join the attack. So I think it's more of on an attacking sense that they can go and create down the right hand side.
Surprised it's not Asgard over Diamandi. Just the onus obviously been on Rangers to go and create here, because he is there for me when he's at it. He's the one who's got that little bit of moment of magic in him.
Yeah, and he's the only Rangers player who's scored this season, but dropping out of the starting lineup this afternoon as Devlin just tries to see the ball out of play there under pressure from Josh Campbell. 1-0 then Hibernian, as Rangers try to do something about that in this second half, having seen their rivals demolish Kilmarnock earlier in the day at Rugby Park by 5-1. As McCann here tries the big diagonal out to Diamondi, who is over on the left hand side just now. There'll be a big onus on Romans to get forward on that left side. Diamondi working back there, he almost lost it to Megwa, but he managed to win it back. But Hibs do have it now. It's Clige coming away from Fernandez, and Clige picks up once more in the halfway line, plays it into Campbell. His layoff's a little bit slack. Naderi holds off his marker Chaiwa, and then Yokota felt he was fouled, but the referee didn't, so play continues with Hibs back in possession. Yokota does well, he wins that ahead of Obita, and then Devlin's caught late by Mulligan. Play allowed to continue. Diamondi charges forward, runs into trouble in the shape of Megwa, but Shanklin takes over just outside the box into the feet of Naderi on the left hand side of the area, looking for support. Comes in the shape of Romans into the feet back again of Naderi, who smuggles it back to Curtis at the edge, and it's over the top from Finlay Curtis from 20 yards. And it's a word in the ear only from the referee for Josh Mulligan. I thought that might well have merited a yellow card the way he caught Devlin, but the referee says otherwise, and it's still Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Both teams a bit careless there with the ball at the start of the second half. Hibs are a really promising attack with Josh Campbell, and he tries to pop it first time instead of taking the ball in, being secure with it and allowing Hibs to get men forward. Rangers on the other hand, I know Devlin goes down. I think from our angle it looked bad, but I think the referee was actually in the way of the challenge, so it was hard to tell if he actually made great contact there.
Here come Rangers once more. The onus very much, as the guys are saying, is on them to take the game to Hibs here and try and get themselves back, and even a point is not really what they're looking for this afternoon. It's a poor pass from Fernandez looking for Romans, and he's a bit lucky there that Shuto overran it and knocked it out of play. But the slackness within the Rangers team at times is kind of beggars belief.
That's just the basics, isn't it? You can't afford to give the ball away, especially when you've got so many players in a forward position. If Hibs are tidier on the turnover there, there's a chance to break. And that, all it does is just add to the anxiety around the stadium.
Fernandez scoops it forward. Looks like he's got too much on that, though. Salinger comes to the edge of his area and gets there well before two Romans. 5 minutes played in this second period, and still Raphael Salinger has not had a save to make in the game. There has been one off the line from Megwa and Chermiti, but that's the only one of note. No further word, incidentally, on the injury to Yusuf Chermiti, which led to him being stretchered up the tunnel, and we will get news to you of that as soon as we have it, as Macania now picks up and plays it square to Fernandez on the halfway line, and back it comes to Macania. The South African takes a couple of touches before he can bring that under control. Curtis now, as I mentioned, playing it right back, forward to Yokota on this right flank. Low centre of gravity, tries to manoeuvre himself away from Mayer. Back it comes to Raskan. Wonder if he'll still be a Rangers player come the end of the transfer window. Devlin now, right hand side, goes down under the challenge of Abita. Shankland's slow and ponderous with his touch, and Mulligan steals it off him. Back comes Curtis, but it's fed into Clegy at the edge of the box. Challenge made by Macania, who played it off Clegy, and it will be a goal kick. Good defending, but I talk about the slackness in the Rangers lineup. You don't expect Lauren Shankland to be guilty of it.
No, but it's just the area of the park where he's at, because Rangers are getting so desperate trying to chase the equaliser, and I think you've got to give credit to Josh Mulligan. That is what he's good at, getting up on the game, putting opponents under real pressure, and he breaks, and he actually has a good presence of mind to find Clichy off the shoulder. I actually think McCann does really well to get across and get a block on it.
Nadiri with the flick on a moment ago, but it's cleared out for a Rangers throw-in. Rangers continue to try and create something of note that will trouble this Hibernian backline. It's Yokota right hand side. He's been lively enough into Diamondi, who now finds Curtis on the left foot, kind of drags the shot, comes back to Diamondi, curls it, pushed away by Salinger and cleared by Megwa. Better from Rangers, but Curtis just didn't really catch it on his left foot at the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Rangers. I think Finlay Curtis, he just drifts into an area where no one in a Hibs shirt really spots him or picks him up, and yeah, look, he gets on his left foot, good strike, good save, and then obviously Diamondi with the follow-up, it's a good strike, good save again. But it's better from Rangers, at least they're testing the goalkeeper and testing Hibs backline and asking the question.
Rangers have it again on the halfway line. It's Macania into the feet of Yokota. Lovely little turn away from Chaiwa, up to the edge of the box, squares it for Shankland, brings it back onto his right foot, and it's cleared away again. The chance was there for him to shoot, and maybe a Lauren Shankland, who is bursting with confidence, takes that first time on the left and buries it, but not on this occasion. He tried to bring it back onto the right foot, and he came into bodies as Yokota picks up once more on the right hand side of the penalty area. Curtis is with him, he rolls it back to Raskan. Raskan on the right angle of the box, tries to curl it in, it's blocked well by Campbell, comes back to Curtis, and Curtis back to Macania now, into the feet of Diamondi, midway inside the Hibs half, out to the right hand side to Finlay Curtis. Devlin available inside, just leaves it to Diamondi here, tries to thread it in here for Naderi, who couldn't gather it in. Derek McInnes on the edge of his technical area is cutting at an extremely frustrated figure at the moment.
Yeah, you could see there when the ball comes out to Yokota, I think you can see McInnes on the sideline. He's barking at Finlay Curtis to get high and wide. It's obviously what he spoke about half time, why he's put him in that position, is as soon as it goes wide, he's like another winger on that side who can attack from behind but also get forward and join in. So
especially when he takes his left foot inside the pitch, that then opens up the space for him to get down the sides. What I would say, just one of the attacks previous to that, the one that the crowd obviously get a bit annoyed that Shankland doesn't get the shot away, but what I really like about Yokota, he drifts in the middle of the park, picks up a lovely position, and yes, he's dribbling at that pace, but he's still lifting his head and picking someone out, and I've been impressed with him today.
Yeah, he's certainly got a bit of composure about him, hasn't he, as well as that good balance and skill, as Devlin sails Fernandes a little bit short, but Fernandes manages to keep possession. Doesn't provide Romans with a great pass either, but Romans directs it back to the goalkeeper, and now it's out to Macania. Macania slides it forward for Raskan here, 10 yards inside the Hibs half. Then Jokita takes over out to the left for Romans. Romans in an advanced area, deep cross has gone straight behind, and he's disappointed with himself. I'm sure his teammates and manager are disappointed as well. I mean, Rangers are applying pressure to Hibs. Hibs are being forced into a couple of slack passes themselves at the back, and David Gray is in a bit of conversation with his coaching staff, and I wonder if they're thinking about changing things, because you don't want to be, defending for the entirety of the second half, because ultimately you would imagine Rangers eventually will find at least an equaliser.
Yeah, I think from... That's getting boomed.
Yeah, Devlin sends it long. Shanklin picks up inside the penalty area eventually. Left-hand side, tries to get it across goal. Albita with his head to it. There's Jokita, tries the volley. It's going to break out to Devlin, and now Diamondi helps it on for Raskan, who'll try and curl it, but it's over the top from the Belgian, and it remains after 55 minutes. Rangers nil, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, just going back to Hibs there, as Raskin strikes one over the bar. I think from Hibs' point of view now, they have to take care of the ball, and that's why these attacks are now sustaining. From a Rangers point of view, they're getting loose passes away. You've seen a couple loose ones from Salinger out the pitch. I think it was Kerr as well who put one out the pitch unopposed. And in these moments when you're playing against Rangers, especially at Ibrox, you're 1-0 up, you've got to show that extra bit of composure and allow you to play through the Rangers press. But as you see these substitutions happening,
yeah, it's going to be a triple change for Hibernian, as Jamie McGrath, Nathan Lowe and Callum Wright all come on, and players making way. Josh Campbell, Cleege and Shuto have all made way, so Hibs trying to inject a little bit of attacking energy into their lineup.
I'll be delighted to see McGrath back. He is the main creative force in this Hibs side.
Yeah, a terrific player over the years in Scottish football for Hibernian and Aberdeen most recently. St Mirren for years as well, as Raskan and Chaiwa contest the ball forward, and Raskan penalised just outside the Hibs box. It's the kind of challenge which in the World Cup we certainly saw that it wasn't necessarily being penalised. I think Raskan ultimately has inadvertently stood on Chaiwa's arm in the aftermath, but Hibs allowed to take a free kick when the referee was still coming over to look at the situation, but Hibernian get a free kick, and the Rangers fans are absolutely incensed by some of the decisions. I have to say, I think most of the decisions have probably been fair enough. Just go back to that one outside the box with Raskan and Chaiwa. I think we're kind of looking for contact, not always to be necessarily penalised, but it was on that occasion.
Yeah, I think, as you say, in the World Cup we've seen the ones been played on and chances were created from on. In this league over the years, anytime there's any sort of pressure on the back and the player goes over the ball, we see a foul given. A chance here for Hibs from the free kick.
Yeah, right hand side. There's a chance it's going to be Mayer to flight it in, back post. Kerr's round the back. Oh, it's cleared off the line by Fernandes. Well, the referee, I'm not sure what the referee's given there. Is it a free kick? Because it certainly looked like it should have been a corner, but the shot came in, and Fernandes able to divert it over the top of the crossbar, but I can only imagine that the referee had seen something amiss in the lead up to that, and it remains 1-0. That's a lovely ball from Shanklin to Raskan. Raskan away from Chaiwa on the left foot, takes a shot on, saved by the goalkeeper. Diamondi back to Raskan, left hand side. and then he can't get the ball back across goal. Well, that's the best opportunity for Rangers, certainly in this second half. First decent save forced from Salinger, but again you feel that Raskin's got to do better from that position.
Yeah, he's got to do better, but I think the overall play you can see there, having Raskin high, Diomande higher, it's definitely asking more questions of the Hibs backline. But the ball comes into the middle for Shankland. It was a lovely first time pass round the corner for Raskin to arrive onto. Obviously he breaks the line, gets through, good strike, good save, but you do expect someone of Nico's quality to have a better end product there.
But that is what you want to see, these sort of patterns of play in round the corner first time, runners beyond. That's what breaks a stuffy back five, and obviously the midfield Hibs have got everybody behind the ball at times, so it has to be that sort of fluid interplay.
Hibernian coming forward down the right hand side through McGrath, out of play for a Hibernian throw in. Still 1-0 to the visitors. We've played an hour now at Ibrox. Hibs looking for another victory here, having won the last away match of the season on this very ground. As Obita picks up on the halfway line. Down the left hand side it comes. And Wright just unable to keep it in play. First sighting for me of Callum Wright, signed in the summer, but he's been injured, missed the first couple of games certainly. As Shankland with another neat touch over the top, but O'Hara's there before Yokota. Lone then nods it down as Hibs try and come forward. Diomande caught by Mayer. It'll be a Rangers free kick midway inside their own half. Josh Campbell's penalty still separating the teams here at Ibrox. Half an hour, just a little bit less of regulation time to play, as Romans fires it forward looking for Naderi. Takes a little bump, it's going to come to Shankland. Edge of the box, goes for goal, off the crossbar. Salinger gets something on it. He didn't really, I mean, I suppose it goes down as a save, but it kind of squirmed under his body and onto the crossbar somehow. Bounced up as Shankland came close to the equaliser, but somehow Hibs survive, and it remains Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, that just comes from Rangers being more direct once again. We touched on that once or twice in the first half, just being more direct, and obviously Nadiri gets the flick onto Shankland. Great strike, but obviously good save. In
comes the corner from the right hand side, up goes Fernandez, headed away. Again Hibs doing everything they can as that penalty kick, as down goes Naderi. Referee had a look at it, hasn't given anything. The Rangers fans were howling for it once again, but the referee looked like he was in a good position. I must say, when I saw the challenge come in, I thought maybe he was going to point to the spot, but nothing given. Ryan Jack, your review of that one?
Yeah, it looked like the referee was actually unsure. He was like sort of deliberating on whether it was or it wasn't, and yeah, look, he's made the decision it's not. From here it was hard to tell if it is or not. Obviously Naderi and the 50,000 inside the stadium's obviously claiming for it, but the position we're in, it was hard to see, but Don Robertson definitely thought about it.
Yeah, he pondered it looked like, but ultimately nothing given. But well, we saw a penalty given after a long delay in the first half. That's not impossible that the same could happen again. The ball's still not been out of play. Rangers still a goal down, looking more like it, you would say, in this second half. Shankland denied just a moment ago by the crossbar after the goalkeeper got something on it to divert it there. Ball played up to Naderi, tries to help it on first time. Yokota trying to get there. Obita just ushers the ball out of play before he can, and it'll be a Hibernian throw-in. It doesn't look like VAR are getting involved in this particular incident, the Naderi penalty claim.
He did wave it away quite early, didn't he? About 25 seconds after he had made the decision, as if he'd had in his ear that it wasn't going to be looked at.
Did he? I didn't see that, but I'll take your word for it. 1-0 Hibernian then, 63.5 on the clock, as Fernandez has it at the back for Rangers. Hibs haven't really been seen as an attacking entity in this second half, but the ball played forward there for Lowe. Fernandez just knocks him off the ball and gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, who immediately plays it out to Macania. Now Curtis playing it right back into Raskan in the midfield, pokes it forward for Yokota. Little swivel away from Mulligan and then plays it out to Diamondi left hand side. Diamondi takes a touch, early ball into the box, or beat us there before Naderi. Little nudge there on Romans to prevent him getting on the end of it as Telo Asgard and Jiri Gassama are stripped, ready to come on. As Curtis plays it into Naderi, back to Yokota at the edge of the box, left hand side, plays it out to Romans. Romans with the early ball in, swept away by O'Hara. Devlin will go and pick up here under pressure from Lowe, but steps away from him, the Australian, and then he's taken down. It'll be a free kick. 2 Rangers quickly taken. Fernandez for Macania. And then back to Curtis. Curtis out to Yokota right hand side, midway inside the Hibs half, tries to get the better of Adam Mayer, who's stuck to his task pretty well this afternoon against the jinky winger. Now Diamondi picks up central area. Yokota looks like he's just maybe tiring or maybe taking a little bit of a knock, but Diamondi gets out to Romans on the far side. Now it's into Devlin, 10 yards inside the Hibs half. Macania out to Yokota right hand side, trying again to step away from his marker, curls the ball in. Naderi just can't stretch far enough to get on the end of it. The Rangers fans, I think, appreciating what they're seeing from the Japanese winger, but ultimately the delivery was just too far ahead of Naderi, and it remains Rangers 0, Hibernian 1, 65.5 on the clock.
Yeah, anything creative looks like it's going to come through. Yokota, lovely balance, just what needs that half yard, and he flights a fantastic ball. And I think Naderi's got to try and do more to go on the end of it. And it looks like he's cramping up a little bit, he's stretching his calves there. I've seen him in a conversation with Derek McInnes. Rangers can't afford for him to go on, because any sort of creative threat looks like it's going to come through him.
Here come Hibs down the right hand side, looking to further their advantage. Not on this occasion. It's gone out for a throw in. 2 Rangers midway inside their own half. Double change is going to be made, but not just quite yet. Shankland plays that on. Looked like O'Hara had a hold of Naderi's jersey there to prevent him running onto that. Referee didn't spot it as Hibs launched the ball forward. It's up towards right on the angle of the box, looking to get away from Romans, who sticks the right boot in and knocks it away. Right then challenged by Devlin. Play allowed to continue as Hibs continue in possession. It's Mulligan wriggling away there from Diamondi, tries to squeeze it across goal for Mayer, and there was a body in the way, and out for a throw and over on the far side to Hibernian. Approaching the midway point of this second half, and Rangers still trail as Mulligan plays a loose pass and Shankland just hoists it clear. Naderi flicks it on, but there's no Rangers players up with him, so it's easy for Chaiwa to gather in. Sent out to the right hand side for Megwa here. One touch and then sends the ball into the area. It's missed at the near post, and it'll come to Callum Wright on the edge of the box, looking for room for the shot. Beaters there to help, and so too is Mayer. Mayer gets to the byline, cuts it back, cut out by Macania. Curtis back to Macania, and then swept up, but Chaiwa quickly in to prevent Shankland turning that into the path of Raskan. And here's the double change coming with Asgar and Gassama, and Nico Raskan is going to be replaced by Asgar, and it's going to be Yokota replaced by Gassama. So Scott, you did say you can't afford to take him off, so they need a big shift here from Gassama, who had showed so much promise at the start of his Rangers career, but it really hasn't happened for him since.
Yeah, I think, look, it's a big 30 minutes for Gassama and Ashgard. I think especially Gassama's been a lot of questions asked at the end of last season and the start of this season, so this is a great opportunity for him to come and show something and get his team right back and get the club right back in this game.
Gassama's going to play on the left. That's his favoured position. I think we've had that discussion a few times.
Yeah.
Here he is in that left flank role. Asgard's over there as well. Cross is blocked by Megwa, who's had a good game at right wing back, not least when he stopped the Chermiti shot on the line to preserve his side's 1-goal advantage. Here's Gassama then, left hand side, away from one challenge into towards the penalty area. Has to cut back the way, gets it back to Asgard, left hand side. He curls it in towards the back post. Up went Mayer to get there ahead of Shankland. Shankland still battling away inside the penalty area. Comes to Diamondi, it's blocked. Again, not enough desire, perhaps not enough dig in the shot to find its way through to trouble the goalkeeper. But Rangers are knocking on the door here. 69 almost played. 1-0 they trail as Diamondi threads it, looking for the run of Devlin. He goes down again. The Rangers fans howl. It's come into Nadiri. Shanklin, oh, how has that been blocked? Adam Mayer with an incredible saving challenge. I think actually the referee has stopped play for a free kick to Hibs inside the penalty area for a previous infringement. Perhaps Devlin handled it as he got back up, but I mean, quite apart from that, Shanklin's effort wouldn't have counted, but the saving challenge from Mayer, who clearly didn't know that, was incredible.
It really was. Yes, it's been brought back, but that's as good as a goal. What a block that is. You think it's Lawrence Shanklin, but 7 yards out, it's destined for the back of the net, and that's everything a manager loves, and that's the sort of last-ditch defending you need to come to Ibrox and get a result. Fantastic.
But better from Rangers, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure. I think most of the second half it's pretty much been one way, and Rangers have been pushing, albeit they've not had too many clear-cut chances. But look, it's definitely Rangers definitely pushing and definitely pinned Hibs back. But it's just, as we touched on, I touched on, Scott touched on, it's just in that final third, can someone show that little bit of composure, a little bit of quality to go and unlock that door and get Rangers back in this game, because they're getting in the areas now, but it's just more about the quality when they're in the areas.
20 minutes remaining of regulation time. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Asgar trying to turn away from O'Hara, who does well though, and then played forward by Kerr up to the halfway line, and McGrath will just let that run out of play, and then he goes down under a challenge from Devlin. He's a bit late and maybe a little bit nutty from Devlin. I'm not sure exactly to what extent he caught McGrath, but McGrath has certainly gone down. He's still down, and the referee's gone across to check on the situation. Again, difficult to tell from this distance what exactly Cammy Devlin did or how much impact he made on Jamie McGrath, but all this is just played into the hands of Hibernian, who continue to lead by a goal to 0.
Take this thing out of the game a little bit. Rangers obviously with their tails up trying to get back into the game. It's like Hibs even at this point. A goal to 0, I still think they have to be brave at times. Just take that, make that extra pass. Don't be too guilty just getting rid of it.
Here's Callum Wright down the left hand side. McCanya is with him, he's done well, he's won it back, and he's got the free kick for his side, which will be taken just a few yards from the Rangers goal line. Didn't win a single home league game under Russell Martin here. 2 draws and a defeat, and then a draw with Dundee United under Stevie Smith before they eventually beat Kilmarnock in Danny Rowell's first league game here. That was the 26th of October. Here's Gassama trying to make an impact this afternoon. Comes to Diamondi after Gassama had gone down. Still Diamondi up towards the edge of the penalty area. Asgar, who's been in good goal scoring form, at the edge of the box. Little step over out to the left hand side to Romans. Romans sends it in. Abita is there before Shanklin. Naderi can keep it alive. Abita again with a clearing header, and it will fall for Mayer. Lowe goes down off the ball, and the referee's seen that. It's Fernandez who's made contact with him, and the referee says that'll be a Hibernian free kick in the middle of their half. And again, as Scott said, it just like breaks up the game somewhat, and that is music to the ears of the Hibernian fans, who are certainly enjoying themselves over on the far side of Ibrox.
Absolutely, they've seen their team obviously leading 1-0 at Ibrox. What they're really proud of is how they're defending their box at this moment in time. The amount of times a Hibs player manages to get a header, a block, as we've seen from Mayer previously, and it just takes the sting out of Rangers attacks. They've defended as a team really, really well, Hibs, and you have to do that. Just as the game goes on, more balls are going to come into the box. You have to. We've seen them take the sting out, I think, with free kicks and fouls, but they have to do that with the ball. They have to try and get a bit of possession in this game. It's just going to be relentless from Rangers, trying to get down the sides and ask questions. And over the amount of volume of crosses, at some point someone's going to get free.
Well, the law of averages would suggest that, but it doesn't always happen, does it? But 16 and a half to play, and it's still Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Everyone inside the Hibernian half right now except for Ivor Pandor, the Rangers goalkeeper, as Finlay Curtis has it. Knocks it back to Macania, just inside his own half now. He's going to have to go all the way back to his goalkeeper. Didn't have the angle to make the pass to Fernandez, at least he didn't think so. Didn't want to take a chance. Now it's Gassama left hand side, back to Devlin on the halfway line. Square here for Macania. Finlay Curtis is well advanced in the right hand side, and that's where the ball goes into Shankland. Little 1-2 played, but Obita had read it and moves across, and he'll get there. And he's gone down, and there's no way that's a free kick. I mean, he's got himself back up, so I think he realised there was no way he was getting a free kick for that, and he just knocks the ball out of play in the end for a Rangers throw-in.
Yeah, I think that's better from Rangers. I think we're sitting here saying that Finlay Curtis needs to give the width. There was a passage of play before that. He's 5 yards inside the pitch away from the centre-back taking the ball, where Rangers need the width from him. They've obviously took Yokota off, and then they need it to be Finlay Curtis that's providing that width and creativity from right-hand side.
Shankland battling away at the edge of the box. Diamandi goes down. Asgard's lost it. Cross comes Romans. Paslak's going to come on for Hibernian shortly as Rangers try and build again. Kanya under pressure from low, gets it to Romans, who's in a central area at the moment. He plays it to Asgard. Derek McInnes is still animated there as Asgard breaks free from one challenge. It goes for goal. The dipping effort's just over the top. Really good effort from Asgard from 25 yards, but just wouldn't dip in time. And here comes that Hibernian change. I say it's Felix Paslak who is going to come on, and it's Megwa he'll replace. It's a like-for-like change at right wing back. Megwa was excellent, I felt, but as you say, Scott, Paslak since the start of the season has also been terrific.
He really has been very aggressive with and without the ball. He's got that energy to get up and down the pitch, and he actually gives Hibs now a threat going forward when they're looking to counter-attack. But just going back to that point, speaking about the width and from Finlay Curtis and why it's so important when you're playing against a back five, one of your wide players has to be basically on the touchline for me, because what it does is it moves that back five about. Do I go, do I not go? If it does go, it allows you to create space and pockets to then go and try and play through a low block, which is difficult. But the key to it is sticking to a structure and staying wide and not being ill-disciplined in your position. So, Jamie McGrath.
Yeah, Jamie McGrath, just a snapshot from the edge of the box, brought it down neatly with his first touch and then volleyed it goalwards, but it's wide of the near post, and Rangers have the goal kick. Under a quarter of an hour left of regulation time. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1 as Diamondi slides it into the feet of Nadiri, and now Curtis is in an advanced position once more on that right flank. Back to Diamondi it goes, midway inside the Hibs half. Back for Asgard and then Devlin into Fernandez. Devlin once more, just at the edge of the centre circle for Macania. Everyone joining in the attack now for Rangers as Macania tries a big diagonal in towards Gassama, who's late arriving in. That's a foul, yeah. A free kick to Hibernian inside their own penalty area for Gassama's challenge there inside the penalty area. Ross McCrory is about to come on, and wonder if that'll be for Curtis at right back. As Hibs prepared to take the goal, the free kick here. 13 minutes left to play. Rangers 0, Hibs 1. Earlier in the day, Celtic winning by 5-1 at Rugby Park. Hearts 4-0 at home to Dundee United, and Motherwell and Falkirk sharing a goalless draw. Devlin here, forward for Asgard on the half turn, away from Mulligan, out to Gassama left hand side. At the edge of the box on the left, fires it in low, and it evades Shankland and Nadiri, and Derek McInnes holds his head in his hands, and sometimes you just begin to feel it is not going to be your day. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, it's a lovely bit of play. I think Fernandez breaks a line to Devlin, beats a Hibs press. Devlin gets in the half turn, great ball through the midfield of Hibs into Asgard, and then he gets on the half turn, get wide, great ball in the box, and Nadiri should probably be in a position to get the end of it. But it's a great attack, and it's probably one of the first times we've seen from back to front where Rangers are breaking the lines to actually get in a position to create a chance.
Goal kick to Hibernian, taken by Salinger over the halfway line. McCrory felt he was being nudged there by Lowe, but nothing given other than the throw in to Rangers. McCrory takes that shot to Devlin into Diamondi, quickly closed down by Mayer. Back to McCrory it goes, early ball forward looking for Shankland. but Kerr's in the way. Diamondi tries a little bit of juggling, but he can't get away from his marker. McGrath battling on the halfway line, steps away from Devlin, and now it's Wright inside the centre circle. Again, Devlin trying to get back at the Hibs midfielder, but Hibs continue. Now Asgard should be able to cut that out, just plays it forward. Shanklin chests it back to Devlin. Early ball forward looking for Nadiri. He's beaten in the jump by Kerr. Mulligan picks up, and then forward by Paslak. Lowe will go and chase that in the right channel for Hibernian. Hibs look to try and get other bodies forward. Up against Fernandez. Fernandez blocks the initial cross, but it comes back to Mulligan, who just tries to dink it to the back post, but it's too high and behind for a goal kick to Rangers. Just over 10 to play, and it's Rangers trailing by that Josh Campbell penalty to nil.
It's a good opportunity for Hibs here. Just looking at Mulligan, finds himself in a great position. I don't think he has to be in a rush to just float that ball out for a goal kick. I think if he stays in the ball, attracts a bit of Rangers pressure, maybe look for a ball in about the box. McGrath
threw the ball forward there and easily cut out by Obita, and then McGrath finds Lowe, and Lowe's just too quick again to try and find Chaiwan. Allows Macania to cut it out, but Hibs could have been in there with a little bit more composure on the ball on the counter as Diamondi picks up on the halfway line. 10 to play. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Here's Asgard, left hand side, across goes Wright to close him down. Short ball into Gassama, back to Diamondi, looking for options. One of them is Romans. He plays it back to Asgard, midway inside the Hibs half, left of centre. He rolls it square to Macania. Everyone back in the Hibs defensive third, barring Pandur. Here's McCrory cut in from the right hand side, ball in, comes back to Asgard, lovely little touch. Asgard can't quite get away. Gassama tries to curl it near post and is blocked behind for another Rangers corner. Well, the pressure continues to mount, but Hibs continue to hold firm.
Yeah, Ross McCrory cuts in on his left foot. Good ball into the box. Naderi just uses his body well. Obviously Rangers get a chance off the back of it, but it's better from Rangers. At least they're putting the ball in the box, they're asking questions. And can they get that goal? The last 10 minutes, this crowd will get right behind them, they'll come with them, and then it gives them a platform to go and get a winner. But right now they just need to break that Hibs back 5 down.
Gassama's near post corner is not behind for another corner, and this time I think Asgard's saying he'll go and deliver this one. 81.5 on the clock. Hibernian looking to win for a third time in the last 4 visits to Ibrox, as Asgard will try and prevent that by providing a good delivery here to the back post. Fernandez gets it back across goal. McCrory's there, he goes down holding his face, nothing given. Comes to Diamondi at the edge of the box, that's blocked. McGrath gets it clear. Diamondi is beaten to it. Here come Hibs on the counter. It's Adam Mayer leading it. Back goes Devlin. Good sliding challenge. Plays it off Mayer. That should be a Rangers throw in. Indeed it is. And Ross McCrory's still down inside the penalty area as the referee signals he's going to have to go and check to see what happened there. He's going to have to check at least to see if McCrory's okay. And again, Rangers, Alan McGregor's out there, part of the coaching staff now, and he has added his voice to the claims that there was perhaps a penalty claim there, but again,
so many bodies in the box, isn't there? It's hard for us to tell, but it was a great break from Hibs, wasn't it? Adam Mayer gets there before Macania, and you got to give credit to Cammy Devlin doing what he does best, recovers really well and wins his team a throw in and gets them back on the front foot. It's a big end to the game for both clubs here. Hibs have to try and hold on. I think they've defended their box fantastically. You've even seen that there. They're just getting their head, but it's a knee clearances at the right time, and Rangers just trying to find a way back into this game.
It's once again though, Scott, it's Rangers have put themselves in a position again at home where they've not done enough up to this point, and then it gets to the last 10 minutes of a game, you're throwing everything at it. Derek's making changes, they're putting more bodies in the box, and then you're open to counter-attacks, and if you just probably more the first 60-70 minutes of the game, then you're probably not in this position.
I think that comes though from how they're set up at times, though. They're not really set up to have real control throughout the course of a game, and anything that you can kind of see that looks deliberate to get your best players into areas to go and create chances. It's all, a lot of it is off the cuff. I think we could certainly see that. You're looking at Yokota in the first half, it was all down to him 1v1, can he get a half yard and then find a teammate. He's done that, but nothing consistently.
Rangers are going to restart with the throw in. Ross McCrory's recovered. They'll come back on just shortly. We've got 6 minutes plus added on time left to play. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Rangers' home record last season was not good enough for a side hoping to challenge for the title, winning just 11 of 19 here in the league, 5 draws and 3 defeats. They're heading for a defeat in their opening league game of the season here unless they can do something. Asgard picked up on a loose pass out from the back, and now it's Gassama inside the area trying to take it to the byline, flashes it across goal, it's the equaliser. Rangers are level. I think it's Lawrence Shanklin who's turned it home. And at last the Rangers' pressure pays off. Gassama did some really good work on the outside. He tends to prefer coming inside on the right foot, but this time he took it to the byline, flashed it into the middle, and I think it was Shanklin who buried it past the goalkeeper. And in the closing minutes at Ibrox, it's Rangers 1, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, as you touched on there, I think we said Gassama, it's coming on as a sub. It's massive for him to try and make that impact. We talk about him the back end of last season, the start of this season. Can he come on and affect the game? He comes on, gets in a great position, flashes it across with his left foot, and Lawrence doing what he does best, middle of the goal, gets on the end of it, puts it home. But look, it's a massive last 8-9 minutes for Rangers here to go and try and push and get a winner.
Just looking at the replay on the big screen, I'm not sure, was it maybe an own goal?
It looked like that there from the big screen. I think the way Shanklin's celebrated, we thought it was him. But what I would say from a Hibs point of view there, David Gray will be absolutely fuming with that. It comes from pass lack and safe possession of the ball. I don't think he has to make the pass straight into your middle of the park. It's loose and it's countered on, and Gassama and Rangers punish Hibs for that straight pass into the middle of the park.
Asgard chasing a lost cause there.
Chaiwa on goal.
Yeah, Shanklin was certainly lurking, but looked like it came off the Hibs player. And Shanklin was certainly celebrating as well, but I think that was more about the relief of getting a goal back. And now, as Ryan was saying, Rangers will look to try and push for a winner, but who's to say that Hibs can't find a winner themselves, albeit they haven't really tested Ivor Pandur in this second half. And to be fair to Rangers, they haven't really, beyond the penalty that was given against them, Hibs haven't really created an awful lot, but they were within minutes of finding another victory here, and they might yet. But here's Gassama left hand side, who has made a difference in fairness to him. Maybe the gauntlet has been laid down. He's won a free kick. He might feel that his Rangers career is on the line unless he can show something to Derek McInnes in these opportunities. And he certainly set up the equaliser, and now he's won his side a free kick which has been taken. It's Diamondi for Devlin, out to Gassama. Gassama forward for Romans. Romans will get that into the area. There's Shanklin with that downward header. Salinger saves. McCrory back across goal, but it's too deep, and no Rangers player can get there. Salinger making a save. I wonder if he maybe made a bit more of a meal of it than was necessary, rather than just gathering it in. But you can hear the Rangers crowd now getting behind their side, looking for a victory here in their opening home league game of the season. As I say, 4 draws at the outset of last season. They don't want to start with 2 draws, but certainly they would prefer the point to nothing, which was what they were facing just until a moment or two ago. Here's Gassama coming in off the left now. Leaves it to Diamondi, left hand side. Romans is there as well. Tries to barge his way beyond Hibs defender. It's knocked out of play for a Rangers throw in. We've got a couple of minutes left of the 90. There'll be a few minutes added on at the end in terms of injury time as well, as the ball's played into Asgard inside the penalty. They can't wriggle away from his marker. Comes out to Devlin though. Left hand side is Romans, midway inside the Hibs half, rolls it into Diamondi at the edge of the box. Then it comes to Asgard, trying to swivel away. He goes down, referee's not interested, and it's stabbed forward. Hibs just looking to cling on, it seems, at the moment. They'll take a point, you would feel, at this stage, as Rangers come again though. It's Devlin left hand side for Gassama once more, still deep in the Hibs half. It's lashed away and out for a Another Rangers throw-in, left-hand side, to be taken by Romans. Owen Elding's going to come on for the closing stages here, and he will replace Mayer. Well, certainly he's been playing left wing back. Elding will just be, I think, asked to try and preserve this point for the visitors, who have played well certainly, but it's Rangers who are pressing for the winner. Less than a minute of the 90 to play. Rangers 1, Hibernian 1. Rangers trailed for so long, but back level as the long throw-in comes into the Rangers, to the Hibernian box, away by Chaiwa, returned by Romans. Naderi gets his head to it, Shankland at the edge of the box. Naderi's still there, battling away, but O'Hara gets the better of him, and Paslak gets it further clear. Low nods it down, and now Elding will pick up, and he'll come across the halfway line. Rangers trying to get bodies back. McCrory's there, and he does well, gets enough on it, and now Diamonde takes over. Diamonde up towards the halfway line to Asgard, closely marshalled by Mulligan, out to Gassama on the left flank once more, comes in field, gets it to Devlin, 4 to be added on at the end here. We're into that now. It's Macania out to the right hand side to McCrory. McCrory sends it into the area, it's beyond Shankland and Naderi, and he'll go all the way out for a throw-in over on the far side to Hibernian, deep in their own territory, and it remains in injury time. Rangers 1, Hibs 1.
Yeah, I think you can see there, as soon as Rangers score, the stadium gets a lift. I think you can see more energy coming to the team on the pitch. You see balls getting put wide, the tempo of the passing's quicker. But yeah, I think on the course, I don't think Rangers have done enough to win the game. I honestly don't. I think they've got in good areas at times, but probably just not had that quality in the final third, or not had that sort of creation around the box. But as soon as they get the goal here, you see the tempo in the full stadium just completely changes.
Yeah, although they were not happy with McCrory going back the way there when he might have gone forward. Gassama's little flick on the left hand side for Asgard. Do they have the invention to create a winner? And it comes to Diamonde, midway inside the Hibs half. Diamonde's ball in, Naderi's up there, McCrory nods it back across the penalty area. Asgard tried to lay it off for Devlin. Here's Macania picking up, right hand side of the box, tries to play it into the area, it comes off Chaiwa for a Rangers corner. This Rangers crowd continue to urge their side on. A few have made their way to the exits, but not as many as you often see heading for the underground or their way home early, as Asgard prepares to take the corner from the right hand side. Tello Asgard, Norwegian international, right footed into the 6-yard box, comes out to Devlin at the edge, takes a touch, thinks about sending it back to Asgard. Instead he goes short to Romans. Left hand side is Gassama onto the right foot, he's going to go for goal, it's blocked at the edge of the 6-yard box. Gassama really got a hold of that, low effort, but didn't find its way through, and Hibs survive once more, trying to dig the ball out from the back here, and have found Chaiwa, left hand side, the man who's inadvertently got the equaliser. But Hibs have got bodies forward here, and they might yet win it. There's a chance to engineer something here. They've gone for goal. They found it! Oh my goodness, it's Felix Paslak who's somehow sent the ball beyond the goalkeeper, who looked to go down, looked to take an age to go down and try and reach it, and he couldn't do so. And Hibernian have somehow found a winning goal at Ibrox just when it looked like they were clinging on. It is Rangers 1, Hibernian 2.
And it's an incredible response from this Hibernian team, and Paslak especially was the guy culpable for giving the ball away for the Rangers equaliser. But Owen Eldon and all that, he shows that bit of composure, manages to work the ball wide, and then Hibs just counter. Rangers defensively not set up properly because they're trying to find the winner. Paslak cuts inside in his left foot and just finds that corner. It didn't go in with any real pace, but the counter and the speed that Hibs broke at, what an ending to the game. But Owen Eldon in there, in amongst all that, he showed that bit of composure, works the ball out wide, and it's a great counter-attack. And what an effort Hibs as a team have put in today. The amount of crosses they've had to defend in that box. David Gray will be absolutely delighted with that. What an ending to this game.
It's incredible. We're back underway. Ball's played back to Pandur, who did not cover himself in glory at that goal at all. Won by Fernandes up to the edge of the box. Paslak gets it clear. McCrory tries to return it. Rangers looking for a second equaliser. It comes to Shankland, blocked his effort. Elding gets it further clear, picked up by Romans. Now it's Diamondi. Right hand side is McCrory. Rangers need to get it into the box, and it comes from McCrory. Comes all the way to the back post. Shankland working his way out of the box. Was he bundled down there? Referee says no. Romans has won it back though at the edge. Out to McCrory, right hand side. He's going to work hard to keep that in. McGrath comes and knocks it out of play. Rangers throwing in the closing seconds here. We're 4 minutes added on. We're gone beyond the 4 minutes now as McCrory takes what looked like a foul throw. Cross comes Elding. McCrory's kept it off him. Rangers need to work it into the box. McCrory, that's going to be hacked away by Wright. It's Romans into Fernandez at the edge of the area. Can he find the pass? It's Gassama, just lifts it high. Back across goal from Shankland. Up goes Naderi, but Salinger will save that on his line, and it looks now as though Rangers are heading for defeat, and Hibernian are going to claim the 3 points once again at Ibrox for the third time in their last 4 visits. The referee telling Raphael Salinger to get on with it. He thumps it high over the halfway line. Oh, Hibernian, what an effort in the closing minutes to get themselves back in front, and not only to get themselves back in front but to claim all 3 points. The Rangers fans sound the boos once more, but the jubilation in the corner of the stand across from us, and the Hibernian supporters once again as they claim the victory at Ibrox once more. It's just an incredible turn of events here at Ibrox, because it looked like Rangers had clinched at least a point and were going for the victory after Josh Campbell's early strike from the penalty spot had put Hibernian in front. But Rangers pressed and pressed and eventually got themselves level as Gassama fired the ball across goal, and it was turned into the back of his own net by Miguel Chaiwa. But Hibernian weren't finished. They came, and on the counter-attack, as Rangers pressed for the winner, it was Hibs that grabbed it as the shot came in from outside the box, but Pandur went down in stages, it appeared, and couldn't reach the effort that came in. I thought it was Paslak initially, but Callum Wright, I think, has been credited with the goal. But either way, Hibernian have a priceless win, their first 3 points of the season. Rangers left with 1 point from 6, already trailing the top of the table, Celtic and St Mirren, by 5 points. And the inquest will begin at Ibrox for the home side, but Hibernian will celebrate once again coming to Ibrox and taking all 3 points. It finishes Rangers 1, Hibernian 2.
Rangers versus Hibernian.
The Scottish Premiership, live on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Players, put on your blindfolds. On BBC iPlayer.
You don't see this in Beverly Hills. There's something not right here. Okay, this is big time twisty.
You ready to play my game?
Alan! Who could be the secret traitor?
Shady, shady, shady.
Everyone's lying to your face.
The Traitors US. Players, the floor is yours. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Well, that is definitely
an absolutely
worth...
incredible ending at Ibrox. An absolutely incredible.
Not quite sure what's happening, but that, I can assure you, US Traitors definitely worth watching. This has certainly been worth listening to. What an afternoon we have brought you here on Sunday Sports, and Celtic with a 5-1 win against Kilmarnock. Hearts rampant 4-0 against Dundee United. It was Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0, and Hibernian right at the end. Callum Wright cutting in his low shot, taking a little nick off a Rangers player and nestling beyond Pandur in the home goal. That after Miguel Chaiwa had initially given the ball away and then diverted Gassama's cross into the net. A horror show for him, but that will soon be forgotten, because Hibernian have done what they've done in each of the last 2 seasons. They've gone to Govan and they have beaten Rangers on home turf. Rangers 1, Hibernian 2. Scott Allen, the celebrations will continue deep into the night. The Hibernian players across there just savouring the moments with those fans who are clearly and understandably absolutely elated.
Yeah, what a Sunday afternoon for the Hibs players and the Hibs fans. they put so much into the game. There's no getting away from it. There was guys who come into the team, there's players who have been rested for Thursday night. They try and claim a starting berth on this side, and boy did they all work hard. Played for David Gray today. You could certainly see that the amount of challenges they got on Rangers players, and blocks and headers they had to defend. Rangers did put balls in the box, but to a man, Hibs defended really well. I think initially we thought that Paslak had scored because he'd celebrated in the corner. I think he was the one that gave that loose ball away in the middle of the straight pass into the midfield that allowed Rangers to get the equaliser. But to a man, I thought Hibs were fantastic. Obviously they'll be delighted to see Jamie McGrath back. He is, for me, Hibs' main attacking player, alongside Owen Eldon, who I thought was, in that short spell he was on, it's his bit of composure, his bit of quality allowed Hibs to then counter-attack. But a fantastic win for David Gray and his side, and a much needed one.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and inevitably, Ryan Jack, when Rangers have got that late equaliser, you're anticipating that they will go on. If there is to be a winner, they'll go on and secure it. But fair credit to Hibernian for having defended us the way they did, but also having the wherewithal to break with menace as they did.
Yeah, look, I think Scott touched on it there. Fair play to David Gray and Hibs. I think the set up to play on the counter-attack, to frustrate Rangers. I think everything that he probably sat and thought about the game last night and how he was going to set up his team, it probably all came out in the match and played out how he thought. But for Rangers' perspective, for Rangers to beat home to Hibs today, first home league game of the season, Derek McInnes's first competitive match at home as a Rangers manager, and to score a Hibs own goal and not really create too much when you've got two strikers on the pitch for the full match, it'll be a frustrating thought for him after the match. I'm sure it'll be back to the drawing board tomorrow and get the players in to review it and see what they can do better. But as touched on before the match, sorry, that if you go one match without a win, it's trouble. Then you go two, and then now you've gone three. It's usually that becomes crisis time, and people start asking serious questions. But it is early on in Derek's reign, and I think there's a lot of new players coming to the club, so you need to give time for that to gel. But as you're doing that, you also need to pick up results, because this football club demands it. Yeah,
they do. Tom English is alongside Scott and Ryan there. It's right at the start. What an afternoon it could be, Tom. It certainly produced an awful lot of stories, and that is one that will make a lot of headlines, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty dramatic all in. I mean, Rangers had the vast majority of that game. If they get back into it, as you said, 1-1, and if there's going to be a winner here, it's going to be Rangers. But what Hibs showed, and I know it took a little deflection, I think off Romans, the winning goal. What it showed was what Rangers really didn't have that much of: that bit of precision, that bit of class, that bit of accuracy for the winning goal. Rangers had so many opportunities. Hibs defended brilliantly. As the boys were saying, blocks, headers, throwing themselves in front of stuff. Rangers just didn't have that quality, and anytime Hibs maybe did show a bit of lack of concentration, about somebody arrived to get them out of trouble. And I thought they were defensively heroic. I didn't think they were going to hang on, to be honest. I thought 1-1, I was backing Rangers to win this game, but then they break away. And the quality, the composure, the lads were talking about constantly, the two words that they were using constantly, and they were dead right. The Rangers were desperate and they lacked composure. Well, in the winning of this game, Hibs had all the composure. They had all the clarity. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and the accuracy. And then a little bit of a nick off Romans, but that counter-attack was outstanding. And I think Rangers are stunned. I think Derek McInnes is stunned. That's two games in the league and no win. They're losing at home here. This is a massively funded project. 40-50 million quid to assemble this team, and they haven't won a game yet out of two. Well, you could say out of three in Europe. This is tough times. I'm not saying this is going to get better quickly. I don't think anyone thought that. But I don't think anyone thought that they were going to lose in the way they've lost today.
It's 3 straight league defeats at home for Rangers, stretching back to last season. It's 3 straight away league wins for Hibernian, stretching back to last season. But of more significance, of course, it is this season. And wow, what a start it has been to the league season. Earlier, 5-1 for Celtic, away to Kilmarnock, a hat-trick from Casper Hu. We bought reaction from that. Let's hear from the two other games now. First, we'll go to Tynecastle. It was a 4-0 win for Heart of Midlothian against Dundee United. Tom Renault and an early Calvin Miller penalty. In the second half, Claudio Braga got his first of the season, and Josh McPake got his first for the club. So 4-0 for Hearts against Dundee United. Brian McLaughlin spoke to the Hearts head coach, Wouter Franken.
Wouter, many congratulations. You look as if you enjoyed that today.
Yeah, really great. Also happy for the players, because they worked hard for this. They didn't get what they deserved, or maybe in the last games, a few games. So, but again, they kept going and they stand up every time. Also today, you saw the confidence growing during the game, and I'm happy to see that they try to play and that the mentality, the team spirit stayed in the team, and that they won also the clean sheet. So, yeah, really happy. Some great goals. It also gives confidence for players who score the goal. So, always good to see that everybody can score a goal, because it's good for their confidence. So, yeah, top night. And now we have to keep going, because it's only one, of course, and we have to. But it's good for the confidence to go to the next games, and yeah, let's try to do it again.
There was no Alex Kazarides today. We believe he may be on his way. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the club accepted a bit, so I think it's a good deal for the club, a good deal for him, and he came in for nothing and goes out with a good deal. So yeah, this is football, this is transfer window, and we focus on the players who are here. I wish him for sure all the best, because he's a great player, but he's also a great person, and yeah, this is part of football.
And of course, back here again on Thursday, Benfica. That'll be a different test as well, though. I think they're playing in their first La Liga game this evening.
Yeah, but you know, you saw them last Thursday. This is a European top team, and you can't give them spaces, because they use their spaces with so easily, with so much quality. So again, it's a great learning experience also, when you learn the best against the best teams in Europe and in the world. So we have a chance to learn again, but also to take a good performance, to try to have a good performance there, and go then to the next.
Wouter Franken, I'm delighted to get his first win as Heart of Midlothian manager. It wasn't such an enjoyable afternoon, of course, for Dundee United and for their manager, Jim Goodwin.
I think for people who maybe weren't at the game today would look at the scoreline and think that Hearts have given us a right going over, but you know, the reality of the situation is we had plenty of the game. You know, in the first half I didn't think there was a great deal between the two teams. You know, Tom Renaud's got that type of quality. He struck a great ball from 40 yards. The second goal is really disappointing. You know, this day and age you don't get away with, you know, pulling a jersey in the box from a set play. VAR are always going to look at it, and unfortunately that's went against us. So 2-0, we've given ourselves a mountain to climb. We tried to make a positive change at half time. Took off Ajayi, who's a defensive midfielder, brought on Sapsford. You know, at 2-0 we knew the importance of trying to get the next goal, and you know, we had 2 or 3 half chances within the opening 10-15 minutes of the second half. We couldn't capitalise on those opportunities, and you know, ultimately Hearts have done us on the break on a couple of occasions, and you know, we need to learn from that. I thought, you know, the second goal, the third goal, even the fourth goal, there's a little bit of naivety there in the way that we defended those situations. You know, the third goal we could have, you know, had a professional foul on the halfway line, stopped the play, and you know, the fourth one we need to defend that situation a whole lot better. Hearts have hit the target, you know, on 7 occasions today, scored 4 goals. We've not managed to hit the target once, and you can't win games of football like that.
Jim Goodwin, well, you can hear from there that he was pleased with an awful lot of what his team gave him, but unfortunately in the end they were well beaten. Heart of Midlothian 4, Dundee United 0. The other game was at Fir Park. It concluded Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0. Amy Canavan spoke afterwards with both John McGlynn and Alfred Johansson.
Alfred, is that a good point in the end?
I mean, if you take into account the last 20 minutes of the game, then I think it's a yes. I think Falkirk, they grew into the game. We kind of grew out of the game the last 20 minutes. And of course, when the score sheet is at that point 0-0, you can lose it in the end. So that was good. We take it. But it's a game where even if we created a couple of chances where EB shot in the crossbar and JT on the first post and Kotrumbis in the back area of the box today, we could have converted better and scored a goal, absolutely. But I think the performance in the second half is something that we offensively with the ball, we expect more from each other, and we know that we can do much better than that. So yeah, that is something that we would like to do better. I think we need to obviously be realistic and realize that it's a time of change where there's a lot of new people coming in, players, staff, and so on. You need to realize then that you're going to have to build relationships, you're going to have to build understanding of each other and also the way that we want to play. We also need to learn all these players in the staff better and better. And that can take a little bit time. And I think we've started off really, really good. Yeah, for me, this game is mainly down to us having to be better on the ball going forward.
Looking to Thursday then, do you feel you're in a good position to progress past HJK Helsinki?
We're in a good position, definitely. Now we'll have an extra day in between games, and then we have all the chances in the world. I think we played a good away game there. I think we played good games at home here, except for the second half today, and we have many good chances to play well on Thursday.
John, a good point in the end?
Very good point in the end, yeah. Great work rate for the whole team. We knew we'd have to do that coming here. Motherwell are an excellent team that pass the ball so well, and the bottom line was for us to really work hard and make it difficult for them, which I think over the whole game I think we did. Very pleased. There's loads of positives to take from that, from where we were this time last week. We were really disappointed. So today the attitude was great, the commitment was great, the energy in the team was much better, and it's that's the standard that we've got. It's the minimum kind of standard that we should get. Great to get a clean sheet. Motherwell hit the bar in the first half, kind of like from a set play, and the ball broke in the box and kind of rode their luck there. But I thought as the game went on, I thought we grew into the game. I thought we did better in the second half. Maybe a little bit of tiredness Motherwell with their travels and their game on Thursday night, and we thought that may happen, and we wanted to take advantage of it, and I think we nearly did. So pleased with the midfield partnership in there with Finlay, Barbrook and Ben Crowhouse. I thought they were excellent. It was a very young side we had out today. Yeah, I thought it was a real spirited, good, hard-working team performance. As I say, loads of positives to take. When you get a few games into the season and you look back and you'll say what a point that was at Fir Park.
John McGlynn there, rounding off the interviews from Fir Park. He did say afterwards that they've got a few injury issues and they're going to be missing one or two players in the coming weeks. So that will be a downer for John, but he'll be delighted to have got that first point of the season. Albeit they're still waiting for their first goal of the Premiership campaign. Motherwell maintains that unbeaten start to the campaign. Of course, the other game, Heart of Midlothian, with that 4-0 win against Dundee United. Renault, Miller penalty, Braga and Mick Pate. Scott Allen, I know you guys didn't see the games there, but that feels like it was a much needed 3 points for Hearts just to settle everyone down after the start they've made.
Yeah, and we're talking about the start. You look at the opposition they've been up against. You look at Sturm Graz and you look at Benfica. There's just a completely different league to that for Hearts as well, especially in transition with a new manager, completely new way of playing, and losing some of their best players from last season. So it was always going to be a difficult start. I think the frustration came from the game at Pittodrie last week. I felt they were dominant for pretty much all of the game. When I was watching the game, I couldn't believe at the end that Aberdeen had come away with the 3 points, but that's football. Sometimes they lost that bit of control and concentration at the end of the game and they were punished. But what a way to bounce back at home at Tynecastle against United, who I felt looked very bright against Rangers. Again, Jim Goodwin changing the style he plays, trying to be braver. And I think he touched on that in his interview, that I think obviously we're not there, so we've not seen the game as a whole. I think they've been done on the counter-attack, and it's just about trying to put that together and in both boxes. Can you still have a threat but still defend well? But a much needed win for Hearts, and I always felt that Hearts would be okay. If I'm totally honest, I'd seen parts of their games where I was thinking, if he gets this right, and it will take a bit of time, I think they'll be fine. And it was a resounding win in the end for Hearts.
Yeah, sure was. So 2 games in the Premiership table, very early days, but it looks like this. Celtic and St Mirren on 6 points, Motherwell on 4, Heart and Midlothian, Dundee, St Johnstone, Hibernian and Aberdeen all on 3, Rangers, Falkirk and Dundee United 1 point apiece, and Kilmarnock the only side to have lost each of their opening first couple of matches after that 5-1 win for Celtic earlier. We've brought you action throughout the course of the afternoon. Most recently, of course, Hibernian's 2-1 win against Rangers. Ryan Jack and Scott Allen being part of the commentary team alongside Al Lamont. There's an awful lot, I guess, for Rangers, Ryan, to contemplate in the wake of this. 1 point from 2 matches in between times. The defeat in Poland against a very good Jagiellona side, but clearly early concerns.
Yeah, clearly. I think, as you touched on there, it's early concerns. I think to not get the 3 points away at Tannadice last Friday, obviously I touched on before, if you don't win that match, everyone looks at the next match, which was a European game, to say, okay, can we get a reaction in Europe? We want to get off to a good start in Europe. Then you lose that match as well with similar basic errors. I think too stretched at times, open to counter-attacks. We've seen that numerous times today. Even the goal that they lose at the end, Rangers are pushing, they're attacking, and then Hibs show a bit of composure, get a counter-attack, score 2-1, and then you come into today, you lose this, and then Derek, I'm sure tomorrow will be having a lot of thoughts, a lot to think about. But I touched on before, if you don't win 3 games in a week at Rangers, then it's always scrutinised, it's always a big problem. We touched on, when we were watching the game, we touched on composure, quality around the box, combination play. I think at times we've just seen Rangers sort of throwing the ball in the box, being hopeful, playing off the cuff, not really having that spark of creativity. So
is it right? Like, forget like the points in that. At this moment, the performances aren't there. I think that's equally as damaging. You can't really see what this Rangers team looks like. We're already into the start of the season. We're looking at the shape. We're looking at the amount of times you have to change personnel to try and get a jolt out of this side, I think. So as much as you can have signs of what you're going to look like and lose games, and you can take positives away, but when you're looking at it over the last 3 games, the performance just hasn't been in there, and that's in both boxes. They don't look there's going to create a lot. They don't look like they're going to sustain attacks in the opposition half. And then, as Ryan, as you says there, any time they turn the ball over, there is space for the opposition to play, and it'll be the same on Thursday with Jagiellona. They'll look at what Hibs done today. They'll look at the threats that they caused Rangers on Thursday night on the counter attack. It'll be no different, and that will be the challenge again come Thursday.
Yeah, I touched on that before. I said Hibs have probably watched the game on Thursday night, and David Gray's probably analysed it and thought Rangers are open to counter attacks. We'll be playing at home, first home game of the season. Can we frustrate them? Can we frustrate the crowd? Can we play on counter attack? They've obviously watched the game on Thursday night. That's exactly what Jagiellona done. And then, to be honest, it's a flip again. Jagiellona will probably watch that and think Rangers at home, frustrate them, get the crowd on top of them. They've not won the last 2 games, and then it'll be another case of you've maybe got a lot of the possession, but again you're defending counter-attacks and you need to be set up better behind the ball. It all comes from out of possession, and when you've not got the ball, that how you're set up. And today I think at times again they just look so stretched when they're attacking. They turn the ball over, and then it's like they're defending a chance, or Hibs have got a great opportunity to go and attack, and then there's no like counter press, there's not second press, it's just lackadaisical. And then so as I touched on there, it's another frustrating day for Rangers, but I think Derek's got a lot of work to do coming the next 3 days before they play on Thursday night again.
And that's a huge match. Of course, we'll have that, and we'll have Hibernian's European tie, both live on Thursday night. Tom English also been watching on. Look, the guys have highlighted some of the concerns there. Another concern is the fact they are not scoring goals. I mean, they've scored 3 goals this season, and 2 of them have been own goals.
Yeah, and now there's obviously, we haven't heard reports on Chermiti yesterday, but that looked a worrying injury for him.
We should say he meant to make the challenge, and he just, his momentum carried him off the pitch, and he kind of slid and crashed into the trackside hoardings. He actually almost seemed to be feeling the injury. Even I don't know that he hit the hoarding with such pace. It might be. It was the
maybe the
impact
loss of
caused
footing.
it.
See when you come off.
Yeah.
See when you come off and you put your foot down on a uneven surface. That's maybe what that.
Before they got him, I mean, they tended to him for quite a while, didn't they? Before they got him on the stretcher, so it was all looking very worrying for him. Obviously, the big report today that they've turned down a £22 million offer for him, and now, we'll wait to see what the situation is. But I mean, you look at this, and I've just done a rough thought of the money that Rangers have spent. Pandur cost about 6 million, Chermiti about 8 million, Yukota 2.7, Dragicevic about 2, Macania about 3, Romans about 3, Fernandez about 3, Diamande cost about 4, 3.5 for Asgard, 4.5-ish for Nadiri, 2.2-ish for Gassama, but 4 for Chukwani. Like
that's pushing towards 50 million.
Yeah, like it's astonishing numbers, isn't it?
Yes, they're getting backed, and they've been well and truly backed. And you look at that Chermiti injury today, Tom, and we're talking about the money he could commit. If he's out long term, Rangers are going to have to spend more money on a striker.
Yeah.
Because he'll want 3 strikers. Nadiri just hasn't hit the ground running at all.
No.
He comes on and he helps things on, but nothing of real concrete quality at all. And when Tom's obviously rhyming up the numbers, you can't say they haven't been backed.
You'd expect more, wouldn't you? And I know it's early days for Derek McInnes, but like Derek McInnes' team, to me, certainly from Hearts last season, hard to play against, hard to beat, hard to break down, tough, resolute. This Rangers team, they look easy to play against.
But this environment's totally different from the demands of Hearts. The onus is on you to take the game to the opposition. And we touched on, didn't we, the three of us, when you speak about how well Hibs defended. But what Hibs had to defend was crosses the whole game, and they're in a back 5. They're not moved side to side. There's no any intricate passing. There's nobody with any guile, disguise. And then you look at the signings and you go, who's came in and actually raised the standards? And that's what was needed from last year. It's looking very predictable.
It looks a lot of endeavour. Guile is a good word, as in lack of. A lot of endeavour, a lot of work rate, a lot of energy, but really not going anywhere.
Just no finesse.
But it's also, as you say there, Tom, it's you spend 50 million over a few windows, whatever it may be, but when you come at home to Ibrox and you score the first home game of the season, and it's an own goal, it's a Hibs own goal. When you see the numbers that Rangers have spent, the players they've brought in, of course this crowd and people coming to see this team expect a lot more. That's just a given. I think going forward it's not going to get easier as well. I've been there myself, where you maybe don't get a result or two back to back, and then the dial just cranks up. That's just the way it is at this club. Whenever you come out the training ground, everyone's speaking about it, the media are on it, the manager's obviously got a lot of pressure going on him because you've not won back. Well, this is 3 games now, and then you touch on there's obviously a lot of money being spent, and that will get brought into it. So yeah, look, it's definitely a concerning time, but even Derek McInnes' teams at Hearts, as we touched on there, a lot of it was like strong on set pieces. And then I think today the goal comes from, albeit okay, it's maybe a pen, it's maybe a not, but it's a set piece that a player's not even looking at the ball, he's got his back to the ball. So it's basics and fundamentals that put you in a position, and then you're chasing the game. I touched it on in commentary. You put yourself in a position, last 10 minutes, you're chasing a game, you're throwing everything at it. The manager's making changes, and then you leave yourself wide open. And we've seen the last 3 games, Rangers to counter-attacks have not been good at all. So yeah, it's played into Hibs' hands.
And like 5 points behind Celtic and St Mirren already after 2 games. Like I don't think this Celtic team are going to drop that many points. Not under Martin O'Neill. There's no Wilfred Nancy around now. There's no soft touch by the looks of it. So
are you paying out, Tom? Are you paying out after 2 games?
Oh, I'm not paying out. I'm not. If I was a bookie, I wouldn't be paying out. Absolutely not. But 5 points is quite a lot when you have so much to fix with Rangers. You've got so much to fix. So I can see Rangers dropping more points, and I can see Celtic with Casper Hu banging him in and Benjamin Nygren banging him in. And like they've got so many goals in that Celtic team. Like
Canelo Duran could have had a hat-trick today as well.
Duran looks a good player. The word on Jota is that he's ahead of schedule, so he's going to be back, and we don't know what he's going to be like when he gets back.
And Celtic will buy a few more players as well. Rangers will do the same. But Celtic are holding all the aces. And I feel a bit guilty talking about Rangers so much, given this was a seismic victory for Hibs today.
Yeah,
for David Gray, a man under a little bit of pressure from sections of the Hibs support. He comes here with half an eye on Europe next week. He leaves some of his kind of stellar players on the bench, and he still wins the game. I mean, it's an amazing victory. Great day.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, when the team news came out, there was no Boyle, there was no Elding. Boyle wasn't even in the squad. Lowe, one of the new signings, he's doesn't come on until the last half hour, so you did wonder. But fair play to Hibernian. And we'll come to them in just a moment. Just a final thought in terms of Derek McInnes, Tom, because he's been in management for a couple of decades now. He knows the game inside out. He's had to deal with all sorts of I suppose hard times that have come along in a tandem with the successes that he's enjoyed. Is this a different kind of pressure even this early in his Rangers managerial career?
It really is, yeah. Because this crowd rang. I mean, there were boos at half time. There's going to be a lot of disgruntlement about the performance, about the lack of kind of creativity in the performance, and obviously the defeat. The fact that he's a good Rangers man is not going to cut much ice around here. At least it didn't feel like it when that winner went in. So he's got an awful lot of work to do, and and all that work is going to take place against the backdrop of an aggressive reaction. And I think that was the way I described it. It was just an aggressive reaction from the Rangers fans, frustrated, angry. They desperately want to win a league title. They are they want it like they want their next breath. And they're now 5 points behind after 2 games. So Derek McInnes has an awful lot to do with these players, and I don't know.
Yokota was a bright spot, would you say? I thought for me, I thought
big heart, trying to make things happen.
And actually, Kasama made things happen when he came on as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. It was the first time, but it was because Hibs couldn't double up on him. He got that shift and just put a ball in the area, and it gets him back into the game. But Yokota, for me, was the one who he wanted that responsibility to go and create. I think he could be a really positive player for Rangers moving forward. He was one where very slight, but great balance. The times he got into attacking thirds, what he was doing, he wasn't just flashing it across. He was actually lifting his head and picking out a teammate. So he's got that composure in that area of the park. What you need to do now, you need to get players of the same ability and wavelength round about him till you see the best in them.
I also think, Scott, that I think with Rangers, you see when they get the goal, the stadium gets a lift, the whole place gets a buzz. You see the difference in the players' demeanours and their characters and how they're getting about the pitch. But my point is, if you get that at the start of the game, if you get that early goal, it just changes the whole narrative of the stadium. It changes the whole narrative of the game. Maybe Hibs need to change, where Rangers just didn't do enough at the early parts of the game to put themselves in a position that later on in the game they could make it more comfortable. They just, if anything, they made it harder for themselves.
And you know the demands, Ryan, of playing for that football club. It is something, particularly against the newer players, that they're going to have to come to terms with very quickly indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, and especially I'm sure every player that's came in, and also Derek and his coaching staff, I'm sure when they signed the dotted line, they wouldn't have envisioned it going this way. It's so early, as in like maybe having this tough spell where you've not won in a game in 3 games in a week. Where obviously when you sign, you want it to be you're on a high, you're creating chances, you're scoring goals, you're winning games at home, games in Europe, games away from home. But it's also the players that are here would have needed that freshness off the back of last season, needed that players to come in and sort of lift the group again, and also the players that are coming back for pre-season, they need to be ready to go again mentally, physically, because don't forget the end of last season was obviously very disappointing the way it ended. And so I think at the minute it's the team, and I'm sure Derek will have everyone sticking together and making sure that come this next 3 days they work hard at the training ground, they focus, they do a lot of analysis on the last 3 games, ready to hopefully take the club through in Europe, and then you move on to the cup game next week. But
right. Based on today, I would be very surprised if Derek McInnes still knows what his best 11 is. and we're already into big games already. That's a problem.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's you want pre-season, you want players to play together, and you want the manager to know strongest team straight away. So when you do come to the league games or the European games, you've got that continuity, that togetherness, that you've gelled over that time in pre-season. But as Scott's saying there, that over the 3 games, it's maybe been like 5-6 changes every game, which maybe doesn't help. Maybe also off the back of pre-season, he's trying to add that freshness every game. So there's obviously different ways that you can look at it, and there's also talk that they're going back in the transfer market to bring more players in, better quality in wide areas, and people who can do combination play around the edge of the box. And Scott's touching it numerous times today. You've probably had one player that's really showed that today, and he got cramp after 65 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think you need more of that, especially in these games where you need to break teams down.
Performance consistently is what results in winning silverware. And I know it's very early on, but there's no consistency in any of how Rangers were playing today. It was all off the cuff, as Ryan says earlier, and just hopeful that somebody comes up with something, or a ball falls to a Shankland and gets a shot away. Celtic have got Casper Hu in, and I know we're comparing it's the two biggest clubs in Scotland. Casper Hu comes in and he's already a figurehead already. He's on the back of a hat-trick today. His belief will grow, the players around him belief will grow. They'll look at this result today, and it's 5 points, and I know it's early on, but 5 points is a lot to claw back over the course of a season if you're not showing any signs of any consistency, and that's consistency in performance and consistency with team selection.
Look, it can change very quickly, of course, but right now it does feel a tough start for Derek McInnes and for the new look Rangers. For Hibernian, of course, they have shrugged off the late loss at home to Motherwell last week. They've gone to Ibrox. They held the lead for much of the game, got hauled back thanks to an own goal, and then had the composure and the determination to get back up the pitch. And Callum Wright's deflected effort found the bottom corner, and that has given them the victory. And it's brilliant, Scott, isn't it, for David Gray? And it kind of shows it's been a pretty decent start of the season. You've got to say, yes, they're disappointed to have lost that game against Motherwell, but they got through comfortably enough in the end against Malasheva. They're in a position to go through against Shkindia, and now they've got their first 3 points on the board.
Yeah, and it was a huge 3 points because Tom touched on the changes that came into the side. And it is an opportunity for them to go and show David Gray that they want to get in this starting 11. Their best players, as I said numerous times throughout the show, are on the bench. Jamie McGrath is the biggest one for me. He is technically the best player in this Hibs side. He was the most creative player last year. You couple him in beside Eldon and Josh Mulligan and Chaiwa, who's very industrious. That is a strong team, and it's just getting these players back at the right time for Hibs. And David Gray today, he would have looked at that with one eye on Thursday. No doubts about that. But what a way to go over to Skindiva and think that you're going to go and win the game. They'll have huge belief from that. But David Gray, the last 2 seasons, consistent. Listen, they lost out last year on another very good performance over the course of a season, finishing third on the last day in Motherwell. I felt last week, as much as 2 very good individual bits of play from Motherwell ended up winning the game, Hibs were in that game for large spells. It wasn't as bad as the reaction that was heard at the stadium at time. And what David Gray and this Hibs side have done over the last 2 years, they've managed to produce big wins when they needed it, and that was a big one today.
I mean, there are new players clearly in that team, Ryan, but are you seeing there a degree of understanding in that Hibernian team? Because these players a lot of them have been playing together, but have also been playing a position, a formation that they've come to adapt to and to understand and clearly enjoy, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can see that today. I think we touched on it numerous times. They bought into the game plan that obviously David Gray had gave them, and the way he'd set them up. You see clearances every header, winning headers, blocks, tackles, putting the bodies on the line. And Scott touched on it, when you come to big places and to play against the bigger teams. So if you like, in Celtic and Rangers, you need to have that as an away team. You're going to be under pressure, and you're going to have to defend your box. And I thought, to a man, Hibs done that brilliantly. And obviously touching on the team that Scott said they've made a number of changes. You've also got Martin Boyle, who's not even in the squad, who's been captaining them, and who's been the talisman, if you like, who they've always went to. And he's not even in the squad, so it just shows you how much trust that David Gray's got in the squad of players.
Yeah, and actually you look at the bench, Tom, they looked at a bit of strength and depth now, Hibernian. They were able to turn to the bench, and actually the players who came on absolutely played a part.
They absolutely did. Like Olding was good, Lowe was good. You look at that bench. Jamie McGrath coming back into it, starter. Callum Wright comes on, he scores the goal. Like that's a good bench for them, and they really did their stuff today. And Hibs, I was talking to somebody earlier on, and we had this debate yesterday on the programme. We had a Hibs podcaster on, and he was saying that they had done a poll very recently about should David Gray go or should he stay, and he said it was about 50-50. I was going, what's the case for him going? What is the case against David Gray?
Football now, is it? He's been in the job for 2 years now.
Yeah, he's a veteran.
So people get bored. It's not too dissimilar to the Jack Ross situation. Remember when everybody jumped on, it was time for Jack Ross to go. They went through manager and transfer window, and it took Hibs a while to recover from that. So you got to give David Gray huge, enormous credit.
Massive, and I would hope that this performance, this result, this victory today just kind of calms everyone down. Those who are thinking, no, we need a new manager. You don't need a new manager. Your manager you've got is perfectly fine. Better than that. He's just had a huge win against Rangers, and things are looking pretty decent for Hibs.
I was just thinking about Miguel Chaiwa there. It shows you the ups and downs of football, Scott. He's in the space of just a few minutes there, he's given the ball away. He actually passed it out straight to Rangers, and then as Gassama fired in the low cross, it was a magnificent finish from Chaiwa into the top corner.
We could laugh about it now.
And then it's actually him who he pings the ball forward for what ultimately became Hibs' winner, pings it forward, and I think it's Lowe who picks it up and feeds it out, and Callum Wright cuts inside and gets a wee deflection, and it's in the bottom corner. Yeah, I think.
What do you think? What do you think about the goalkeeper for the winning goal from Hibs?
He certainly seems slow in going down. I don't know if the deflection has just, if he was slightly unsighted, if the deflection has just taken it beyond him. When you've paid the kind of money for a goalkeeper that Tom was outlining there, I think you're anticipating that he's going to save that kind of effort, aren't you?
Yeah, but there is I don't know how much of a deflection has it taken, because you're right. It wasn't exactly a rocket, was it?
It wasn't that it was.
Right.
It isn't that the ball was going right and it's gone left. It's just simply it's nudged it, so it's come off the outside of Roman's foot or leg, and it's certainly gone a little bit wider. It's not a 10-foot difference or anything like that.
Bit slow, but I'm just showing it to the lads here, Richard. They're kind of wincing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little bit slow in getting down. I don't know if the deflection has put him off. I don't think so. Yeah, that's
the angle.
We're watching it. You're just watching it again here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. In fairness, it does take a little.
I think from behind the goal you see it does.
Yeah. From behind the goal you see a better shot.
Still, you're still looking for the keeper to make that stop, Scott, surely?
I'm just about to see that one. All the angles give you a different perspective on it. Listen, but it comes from not having to set up behind the ball and Rangers are attacking, and ultimately they paid the price, and it's a fantastic counter attack. Owen Eldon, who I've tipped over the last couple of weeks, I think he's going to have a big season for Hibs. Showing that bit of composure in the middle of the park. The easiest thing to do at that stage of the game for a player in that area is just to help into the corners. What he does is shows a bit of composure, stays on the ball, works the ball out wide, and to Chaiwa, who had an emotional roller coaster over the last couple of minutes, he sets him away, and it's a brilliant winner from a Hibs point of view.
And it's the kind of result, Ryan, that can give Hibs a real platform, isn't it? You would imagine they're going to be absolutely full of confidence that they can get the job done in Europe on Thursday night. Got the League Cup to come. They've got, obviously, league matches thereafter. But it can be, and we've seen this so many times, games, seasons can turn on a single few seconds or so.
Yeah, look, it just shows you how quick the season can change for you. The lads touched on there that 2 weeks ago, when they played away in Europe, obviously seen the scenes of the players getting booed off the pitch, and Tom touched on there was polls from Hibs fans about David Gray and making a change and whatnot, but it just shows you can come to play Rangers, you get a result, then it could really kickstart your season, could really change the narrative and what people think. Okay, they're not today, they weren't expansive, they weren't they got in their block, they got in their shape, they played on counter-attacks, but as Scott touched on, they also showed the composure and the style when they did get in that areas to go and get their goals. So no, David Gray will be absolutely delighted, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be hoping this kick-starts the season.
So we're 2 matches into the Premiership season. Be a break next week, of course, for the second round of the Premier Sports Cup. We will get reaction from David Gray and Derek McInnes shortly, we hope. Just in terms of the opening to the season, Tom, 34 goals scored across the matches that have been played. There's been plenty to suggest that, look, whether it hits the heights of last season remains to be seen, but there's been plenty to suggest that this is not going to be a quiet campaign that's going to roll out in front of us.
No, the question is, can anybody live with Celtic? That for me is the one of the early questions. St Mirren are surprising us, but it's only 2 games, but they have surprised us. 6 points out of a possible 6. Motherwell looking good. Hearts bouncing back today. Really good victory for them. That's going to calm everything down at Tynecastle. Dundee, I thought, were terrific yesterday. Absolutely terrific.
Yep.
Same old question marks about Aberdeen, Rangers. Yeah, like every club has its own mini drama. Aberdeen, yeah. Wow. Richard, how do you feel about Aberdeen?
I thought they were completely outplayed and were fortunate to get away with a 2-0 defeat. I thought Dundee were excellent yesterday. I thought Joe Bevan was pretty much unplayable at times.
They were against Celtic as well. The structure and how they set up against Celtic man for man. Celtic had to really work for that win on the Monday night, but looking at them yesterday, it could have been a lot more comfortable as well.
We've seen with Dundee in 2 games, we've seen 2 sides of their personality. We've seen the real dogged resistance, defensive organisation, and all that against Celtic, and hanging in there and only losing 1-0 and putting a lot into that. And yesterday we saw the other side. We saw the attacking, we saw the elan, we saw Joe Bevan, we saw chances, we saw speed and creativity. Guile, Scots were, we saw all of that from them yesterday. I thought they were really, really good.
Yeah, I think
Stephen Presley deserves an honour because he loses his best player every year. He does, but that's when you look at Dundee over the first 2 games, that's a team that's well coached, and that is the evidence when you see them on the park. They can defend, they can do that side, they can set his team up for that sort of game against Celtic. And then yesterday against Aberdeen, it was total dominance.
Yeah, look, it's going to be fascinating as ever. 2 games in, only Kilmarnock without a point on the board. Falkirk are the only team not to have scored. St Mirren are the only team yet to have conceded a goal. Let's get to Cerdine Idsan, our pitchside reporter, who has been joined by Derek McInnes.
Just how damaging a defeat is that?
Well, it's damaging in the sense that we came here to win and we expect to win. I think it was really harsh on us. I think in terms of the overall performance, yes, it wasn't perfect, but I thought we were a better team. I thought we lose the penalty kick when I haven't seen it back. I couldn't understand what it was at the time, but having seen it back, it's not a penalty kick. I don't think the referee should be brought over for that. So really disappointed with that. We've still got plenty of the game to get ourselves back into it. And I do think that what we've got to do now is just dust ourselves down, because that was a blow for us. I thought the response of the team in the latter part of the game was terrific. We probably need to play a bit more like that more often in terms of playing forward, engaging with more strikers quicker, playing with a better tempo, because it was all a bit laboured. And you've got to say that Hibs' shape allowed it to be a bit slower at times, getting bodies behind the ball. So we tried a few things, obviously at half time. We tried to get Finlay and Daisuke ganging up on that side, because we did feel that was the area of the pitch that Hibs were kind of giving up. So we take Vanya off with his booking, and we try and get a more attacking threat. You have to say it didn't really quite work, but I thought the changes after that were really positive. I thought Tello, Dio, and I thought Gas were terrific in terms of the changes. The wee setback with Yusuf, of course, a big blow for losing him and a blow for us, the little adjustments. But listen, we were a team the stats that matter is the one that the final result, and I'm not going to be a manager here that takes positives for that, but there was some positives, and I liked the way how my team never gave it up. They kept going for the win, and I thought that was really harsh on us. And sometimes in life and football you don't get what you deserve. We deserved far better than what we got today.
There's a lot of frustration around the place. You probably share it, don't you? There were boos at half-time and at full-time, but you're just in the door, you're trying to build something here. But I just wonder how patient you would like maybe the supporters to be.
Yeah, listen, I share the frustration. It's been 15 years here of frustration built up for a number of years. The one title the club did win, it was when no fans were in, so the fans have not even seen their club win a title. And there's been a lot of tough times, and I think we need to dig deep in a minute, and I'm determined to get this right, and I believe we will get it right. I think it shows how determined we were to have the best window possible to try and get everything ready, to be as strong as we possibly can be, and it's not been a good start for us, we understand that. But totally get the supporters' frustration, I share that, and you know, sometimes it's a byproduct then for my team, this team, who have to deal with that. But deal with it we must, because that won't change until we start seeing winning performances and get us where we need to be at the top end of the table and winning trophies regular. So it's not the start we wanted, but we still plan to get the finish that we wanted, and it's up to us to try and be as strong as we possibly can be in the next few games, and certainly come out this window.
On the day when I think the club turned down a record bid for him, unfortunately Yusuf Chamiti left on a stretcher. How is he? Is there an early idea of how he is?
No, there isn't. It'd be wrong to speculate, but he's some sort of impact on his knee, and the way he's planted his foot. So we just need to wait and see. He'll be in a brace and a boot, and we'll see how that is on a scan tomorrow. So. Obviously it's disappointing for the big fella, because I actually thought he looked really bright in the early part of the game, and it's a blow for us, of course, because he is such a key player. You know, and obviously you mentioned ahead of the game about the bid. It's been turned down because we all see the value in Yusuf, and hopefully we get some positive news on the scan tomorrow.
Just finally, there's a huge European game coming up for you. Now that could get your season on track, couldn't it? It's going to be huge for the football club in all senses. Yeah, we want that playoff spot. We want, obviously, Europe's really important to us, and it's important that the supporters see a winning performance on Thursday. We all get that. I think we need to try and play in a wee bit more of the manner which we played in the last 25 minutes, half an hour of the game, when there was a wee bit more urgency and a bit more tempo to play. And it doesn't always need to be little pretty patterns to get to where we need to get to at times. Sometimes just asking the question a bit quicker can get the job done. But whatever way we set about it on Thursday, the intention is to go and win the tie, and hopefully, as I say, we get through, because it's such a big game, as you mentioned.
There's a massive game for Rangers. We'll touch on that before the end of the programme. Derek McInnes chatting with Kerdy Nids, and we can also hear now from a man who'll be in a very different frame of mind, David Gray, the Hibernian gaffer, been chatting with Kerdy too.
David, how big a win is that for you in the football club?
It's a massive win, a brilliant win. Certainly, you know, the feel-good factor we've got right now, coming in, especially the manner in which the game went, to score at the last minute to go and win the game. I'm delighted for the players for what they've put into it, and it'll be great for us moving forward as well.
I saw you dancing down the touchline in delight when that late goal went in to get the win. It shows what it means to you, to the club, and that's back-to-back wins here at Ibrox for Hibs. Yeah, I think I'm not usually one for celebrating goals, I'll be honest with you. I'm usually quite miserable, but I did enjoy that one. I think, well, listen, it's a massive moment for everybody. I think in the football club as well, you say back-to-back, but that's actually the first time ever that 3 consecutive seasons we've came here and won, so it shows you how hard the place it is to come. And I thought, well, no, first half especially, I thought we were excellent. I thought played really well, deserved to be in front, restricted Rangers to very little. Shape was excellent. Full credit to Rangers second half. They put us under immense pressure, and then for us to get over the line, we needed every player to put the body on the line, which he did. Your goalkeeper to pull off massive saves, which he did. And you need to ride your luck a wee bit as well. And then actually going against that, we lose a goal from an own goal. So at that moment, you then maybe wouldn't be your day. But that was the biggest moment for me in the game, because then it was a real test of character, which I really enjoyed seeing, because then it had been really easy to go and lose the game from the 50,000 people. The momentum that Rangers already had, the efforts that were already had at goal, I don't know exactly what it was, into the 20s anyway. But it would have been easy to fold there. But credit to the players. We break away in the last minute, and I've got 4 or 5 players desperate to go and put the ball in the net at the end. So it shows you the character of the group and the belief that's in there as well. I imagine one of the things that's pleased you today is the sheer desire that your guys showed there, throwing bodies in front of the ball, just a desperation to keep Rangers out.
Yeah, I think the only thing it was missing because of that type of performance, I think it has, I've been involved in them myself, when you feel like you're going to get the block in all the time and that, whilst you've got someone to hang on to. And then we're still chasing that clean sheet, so it's something we've spoke about in the last 2 or 3 games, that defensively we've maybe not been as strong in certain moments, but to a man defensively today they gave absolutely everything, and there was many big blocks, many big saves, as I've just touched on there, and as you say, from a character point of view, was massively tested, so full credit to them all.
How well does this set you up for the trip to North Macedonia? 'Cause that's a massive game as well, Scandinavia, and you've got a lead to protect.
Yeah, it's a massive game. It's it's the rewards for last season. We put ourselves in a brilliant position, but it's only half time in the tie. We can feel good about the momentum we've got from today and the confidence that comes from that, which is great. I think also the fact that we changed a few players today, freshness, which was required, and they've all stepped up and done really well. Players coming back into the squad as well, with Jamie McGrath, Callum Wright getting more minutes, Antti Suto, who's missed a bit of pre-season, Josh Campbell missed a bit of pre-season, added to that players like Canayo and Thibault, who've not played as much minutes, all waiting for their opportunity, and certainly took that. So the squad's in a really healthy place. It's getting stronger all the time. That can only be a good thing moving forward. But full focus now is about recovery, quick turnaround, as we know, and we've got a brilliant trip away in Europe to try and come back and get into the next round.
And one last one, you're building at the club, obviously players coming in, maybe players going out as well. I can ask about Grant Hanley. Has there been interest in him, maybe from Kilmarnock?
Not that I'm aware of. Grant actually probably he was actually down to play today, and he hyperextended his knee in training, a little bit of swelling on that, so we didn't take a risk with him at this moment, especially when you look at where we are numbers wise at the back, with Warren and Jason playing a lot of games. There's the two sort of recognised centre backs, and Granty being the other one, but because he felt a bit of his knee, we couldn't take that risk, and he certainly wasn't going to do that either, so certainly nothing in it from that point of view for me.
Well, we'll see if anything does emerge further regarding that. But David Gray absolutely delighted with his team. As he pointed out, they haven't kept a clean sheet so far this season. But Scott Allen, they did pretty much everything but keep a clean sheet. They didn't. You can understand his pride in their defensive performance.
Yeah, well, he was a wholehearted defender himself, David. So that's something that. Not something I looked at when I played, but something that your defenders prided themselves on. But I think you've seen enough defensively how many bodies were put on the line to stop Rangers getting through that back line. He'll be very impressed with that, and something that he would expect with his team, especially when you go a goal up and you're hanging on at times. And he touched on Rangers the second half, and they did have a go. They did put balls in the box without that real bit of finesse, as we've all spoke about. But what you can't take away from Hibs is that bravery and wanting to get there. That was the difference with us. They wanted to get blocks on it. They wanted to put their body on the line. And then when you get Rangers get equalised, it's quite easily just to drop right off the game, and the crowd just suck the ball into the net. But as I says, on Eldon, a one bit of composure at the right time, and it allows you to get forward in your numbers, which Hibs done, and finish with a massive 3 points, as we spoke about. But you can tell he's absolutely delighted with that one. I didn't see him celebrating, and he's absolutely right. He's not one for showing many expressions on the side of the park, but he must have enjoyed that one today.
I mean, he didn't celebrate quite as much as Liam Craig did. He was bouncing about all over the place. Tom?
Yeah, so you just look at the pressure that they were under. I mean, Rangers, the stats on this are pretty stark, right? Rangers had 25 shots on goal, 9 on target. They had 75.6% possession, and all of that amounted to 1 own goal. That's all they got out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Hibs, they had 2 shots on target, 2 goals.
That's why we love football, isn't it? I think I'd rather play the one with the 76% possession rate enough.
I mean, it's incredible, and I'm not.
But see all the possessions to give you purpose to go and score goals and create goals. The volume is high, but it was nothing.
A lot of it was huff and puff pressure, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just moving the ball around. And one of you said earlier on that they weren't putting Hibs in places where they didn't want to be. The Hibs were happy defending where they were. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Tell a bit about that.
Yeah. So I think especially when you're playing against a back five. And obviously 4 in front of that at times, and the lone striker just stays up on the deepest line Rangers midfielder. You have to, if it's narrowing or defending the width of their box, then you have to switch the play at a pace where one of your outside wing backs, whether it was Megwa, Paslak when he came on, and actually create the space inside the pitch. They didn't do that because it was too ponderous at times. It's not in, out your feet and switch. Ryan, you'll agree with me there. You have to stretch them, and then that allows you to create the wee pockets that then give the Hibs defenders a decision make. Do I engage? Do I drop off the game? If you engage, then you can maybe get the combinations with your striker and get in behind. If they stay up, it allows you to maybe shift the ball and get a shot on target. But they just didn't do that enough. It was all down one side, couple of passes here and there, back to the winger, and then we'll put it in the Hibs defence's set. And for defenders, that's their bread and butter. It's when they actually start getting moved and ask questions and runs on in behind that then ask questions. Rangers just didn't. It was down one side and then the cross would come in, so you never really moved them enough to create real chances for your strikers.
I think as well, Scott, I think you touched on it, when the ball does go wide and you're playing against the back three and you keep the width, it can stretch the three centre-backs. The three centre-backs want to drop, they want to go in the box, they want to head the ball, of course they do. First half, Rangers, both wingers cut inside with the ball, and I don't know how many times whipped the ball either too far out the pitch or onto Hibernian centre-back's head. But we both touched on it. If you can keep the width, and then you can maybe have a midfield runner and it stretches the back three out, then the gaps become bigger between the three centre-backs, and then you can actually get the combination play. But Rangers never done that. They just sort of...
There was times when Curtis was in far too... So the ball was on the opposite side of the pitch, and Finlay Curtis was coming in far too early. So for a back five, you can see him. He's right in front of you. If he's out wide, you're going, right, is my distances right? Are they not? It didn't cause Hibs enough problems in that sense.
But even second half, there was one I said to you, Scott, that Finlay Curtis is standing 5 yards away from inside the pitch from the centre-back. And McInnes touched on after the game that he put Finlay Curtis right back to be another attacking asset from the right-hand side, to get high, get wide, to double up on that side. In the first 20 minutes of the second half, I think he was five yards away from centre-back receiving the ball in the half-turn inside the pitch. And for me, Hibs are looking at that going, okay, you can go take the ball there, we're not getting sucked out, we'll keep our shape, we're 1-0 up. And you're not asking the question, but as we touched on there, if you split the Hibs back three and you get the gaps bigger, you can have Diomande and Raskin second half penetrating that space. It stretches, then you can get the balls into Nadiri's feet, into Shanklin's feet. And there was one that the one that Shanklin comes off, Raskin runs, Shanklin plays around the corner, Raskin, it just opens the pitch. Hibs back three drop, and then obviously Raskin gets the shot. He could lay it off, he could do better, but it just showed you when they were set up properly the second half, the Hibs were there for Rangers to get at and to create more evident chances.
Well, Hibernian held on. Maybe it was kind of last gasp defending at times, but perhaps they weren't asked the kind of questions that Ryan would have anticipated them being asked by Rangers. Last couple of minutes of the programme, guys. Both these sides, of course, in European action. Hibs, first of all, Scott, in North Macedonia, 2-1 up thanks to that late Warren O'Hora goal. They've got to be going out there with a real degree of, still with hope and confidence, haven't they?
I think they'll be going out with massive confidence after the last two games. I think always scoring a late winner does build a bit of momentum, and then you go into the day, and then David Gray's used the full depth of his squad, and they've came away from Ibrox with 3 points, so they'll be going in there in a great place. Guys coming in with a bit of extra time to recover as well. Your Eldons, your Boyles. I think David spoke about that at the top of the show, that Martin will be fit for Thursday. So there's guys who have been well rested and ready to go, and it's a big game for the club. I've got real confidence that Hibs can go over there and get the victory.
It's a 7 o'clock kick-off. There'll be full live commentary on Sports Sound, which gets underway at 6 o'clock on Thursday evening. There'll also be live commentary from Ibrox, Ryan. Look, you imagine it's going to be another tough one, because Jagiellonia looked to be a very decent team, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely on the break, on the counter-attack, all the stuff that we touched on. I'm sure they've watched Rangers today, and they'll be saying the same things, that Rangers can have possession, they can play in front of us, they can throw balls in the box from deep. In Jagiellonia, the pace and the threat that they had first and second half on the counter-attack was evident, and I'm sure they'll be fancying that come to Ibrox. But from a Rangers perspective, I think they need to go and put on a strong performance from the off, high speed, high tempo, and get this crowd back on side, because as you've seen today, there was boos at half-time, boos at full-time. But if you go and get a good positive result in Europe on Thursday, it can kick-start the season, it can get this place rocking again, and hopefully that can kick them on for the cup game next weekend.
They're a decent team. I think Rangers made them look better than they were the other night. That was from what I seen of the game. I think Rangers, if they tidy up at the back, the set-up's a bit better. Rangers should be winning this game of football. There's no doubt about that for me. But a lot of how Rangers played on the Thursday night, I felt, made Jagiellonian look a lot better than what they actually were.
Motherwell, of course, had the lead in Finland against JK, who pegged them back, but it's one apiece for the second leg at Motherwell. That's a 7:30 kickoff at Fir Park. We'll have updates from that one, and also from Tynecastle, where Hearts, going up against Benfica, but 6-1 down from the first leg. Tom English, your hopes, your dreams for the 4 Scottish sides, how many are going through to the next stage of European competition?
Well, I'm going to put my neck on the line and say Hearts are not. I'm going to pull it back. That's a controversial opinion, but I stick by it. Hibs, I agree with Scott. I think they can go through. Rangers defending will give me the fear, I have to say. There was so much space. Jagiellonian found so much space in the first match. And again, with the tension that's built up around this team and this club right now, and this support, if they don't get off to a good start on Thursday night, I fear for them. I wish them well. I'd like to see them go through, but start trusting Rangers when they warrant trust, and I don't think they warrant trust right now.
And Hibs, fancy them?
Oh yes. I think I do.
Motherwell?
Okay.
Motherwell, yes.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, it sounds. I mean, it's almost not worth playing the games. It sounds like we've got a pretty optimistic game coming out. Look, boys, thank you so much to Tom English, to Ryan Jack, to Scott Allen, Al Lamont, to the commentary, and of course all the guys who were with us earlier on in this marathon. Wins for Celtic and Hearts, a draw Motherwell Falkirk, and of course that dramatic victory for Hibernian at Ibrox. From me, Richard Gordon, and the Sports End team, enjoy your Sunday evening.
Across Scotland, with the latest news, every kick of the ball, music and culture.
On digital radio,
BBC Sounds,
and your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Scotland.
BBC News at 7 o'clock. This is Cara Conway. Good evening. In the past half hour, an Irish government jet carrying the suspected crime boss Daniel Kinahan has landed in Dublin. He's been extradited from the UAE, where he's been living for about a decade. Mr Kinahan is due in court this evening. He's accused of leading the Kinahan cartel, which he denies. Our Ireland correspondent Chris Page says the gang is alleged to be involved in drug trafficking.
The former Garda Commissioner Drew Harris, he said the gang is estimated to have made more than €1 billion across the globe from its activities. The National Crime Agency in the UK have said that the Kinahan gang were responsible for cocaine imports estimated to be up to £23.4 million.
Former Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar's defended his decision to accept a seat in the House of Lords, despite previously calling for it to be scrapped. Sarwar was speaking to BBC Scotland News about the move for the first time, after opposition politicians called him hypocritical. Katie Hunter reports.
It's more than 2 weeks since Anas Sarwar accepted a job in Andy Burnham's new government. That means he'll take a seat in the House of Lords, a move his opponents branded hypocritical. In 2022, he said it was unacceptable that unelected representatives wield so much power. Speaking after an event at the Edinburgh Fringe on Sunday, Mr Sarwar said he still believed the Lords should be replaced by a Senate of the nations and regions. When asked whether he had misled people before the Scottish election by saying he wouldn't take a seat in the Lords, Mr Sarwar said he'd failed in his aspiration to become First Minister and now wanted to make sure the UK Labour government was a success.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected a peace deal for Gaza, which was put forward by President Trump's Board of Peace. Hamas had accepted the proposal. Mr Netanyahu says he'll only accept a deal which sees Hamas completely disarm. In the Canadian province of British Columbia, a wildfire has spread across 39 square miles. More than 20,000 people have been evacuated, with some being airlifted to safety. Matthew Frank, who's a journalist in Toronto, says dry weather has helped the fires.
The conditions are quite stark trying to deal with these fires. British Columbia has faced drought-like conditions and tinderbox forests that can ignite through lightning strikes. And the winds have really swept the size of these fires to incredible damage in the area.
And 3 works by Banksy, which have appeared in central London over the past 2 years, have cost the taxpayer more than £150,000. One on the listed Royal Courts of Justice building has had to be guarded by security while being removed, an operation which has cost more than £85,000 so far. In sport, Casper Hu scored his first Celtic goals as his hat-trick steered his side to an emphatic victory away to Kilmarnock in the Scottish Premiership. Manager Martin O'Neill was not present after being in hospital, but the 74-year-old is said to be recovering well. Heart of Midlothian have thumped Dundee United 4-0 and Motherwell were held to a goalless draw at home by Falkirk. Rangers lost 2-1 at home to Hibernian as Derek McInnes is left still waiting for his first win as Ibrox manager. Meanwhile, Rangers have rejected an offer for striker Yusuf Chermiti, with manager Derek McInnes confirming it didn't meet the Scottish Premiership club's valuation. Sevilla are closing in on a deal worth up to £7.9 million for Scotland under-21 striker Robbie Ure from Swedish club Sirius. Meanwhile, in tennis, British number 2 Cameron Norrie spurned 2 set-point opportunities as he was defeated 6-2, 7-6 by 18-seed Arthur Fields in the Montreal Open last 16. And in cricket, Scotland need 160 runs to win from 23 overs with 7 wickets remaining after United Arab Emirates hit 231 for 8 in their Men's Cricket World Cup League 2 match. Scotland's weather, cloud and rain in the south will continue to pull away this evening, leaving a largely dry end to the day with some late sunshine. A mostly dry night will follow with clear spells, scattered showers in the Western Isles, the Northern Isles and the North Highlands. Under clear skies, it'll be a cooler night than the one just gone, with lows of 7 to 10 Celsius typically, 4 or 5 Celsius in some sheltered parts of Dumfries and Galloway, 11 or 12 around western coasts and islands, fresh to strong west to northwesterly winds for the Northern Isles. Tomorrow will be predominantly dry as high pressure begins to move in. Spells of sunshine widely tomorrow morning. There will be a build-up of cloud during the day, but still some brightness and sunshine at times. Highs of 20 Celsius in central and southern areas, 14 to 17 in the north typically. And that's your BBC Radio Scotland News.